and jet, play the bets. Talking cards, you know the rest. Super short prints, you collect. The rarest cards, you gotta reset.
Oh.
All right, Chris, you're on location. It looks like.
Yes, I'm back in Charlotte for the week, trying to hold it together in every way possible. But
yeah, I know how that goes. Everybody, welcome to another edition of Blabbing About Slabbing Live. It is Thursday night, and there's a little bit of Saturday Night Fever vibe to our theme song. So
definitely, I listen. Of all the things about John Travolta's life, Jeff, I the only thing I find myself envious of is the dancing ability. I don't have that at all, in any way, shape, or form. You, as you know.
And his appearance in Face Off, which is one of your favorite movies.
That is true. That's an excellent point.
Professor, I was just showing my tops now. It's a little tough to see, but he's got a stroller. That's a stroller because he was too young to drink legally in the during the celebration after they made the playoffs. So the team got him a little stroller, put some non-alcoholic brews in there. And then he went on to have a pretty great series, despite what happened to the Brewers.
Yeah, he was definitely the brightest bright spot for you guys. ATL Jeff Black, it was a 2023 Stadium Club. That's all I could find down here. I did go to Charlotte Sports Cards or Charlotte Sports. What's it called? Sports Memorabilia? Sports something. I don't know. But that's the only Stadium Club box I could find. We're halfway through it, and so far, no autos, no variations, no chromes. So we'll see. But yeah, Wilsey Sports Cards. I worry about Freeman. I don't know what kind of long-term damage he could do to his ankle. It kind of, Jeff, was it Varsity Blues where it was like some high school football movie where the running back got really hurt his knee and the coach was like jamming pain meds in him, and I think that was it because Vanderbeek comes to the rescue and it's like, don't you take that shot, something like that.
It sounds like a Vanderbeek move, yes. So you think he's getting shot up pretty hard?
I think he'll do pretty much anything. Like if he doesn't start Game 5, I think we have to assume that none of us would be walking in that condition.
Kevin is suggesting a one-stop shop in Charlotte.
Okay. Kevin, thank you. I will. I'm going to write that down and I will check that out. I should have tomorrow morning. Blues. I might be able to. Was Varsity Blues? I'm both, Jeff. That's the kind of thing where I'm both happy that I got that, but also extremely sad about the fact that movie lives in my head still.
So Will said I wouldn't call Cheerio cute, but wasn't Filmington harsh throwing him into the Machado category for looks, especially since Filmington has compared Manny Machado to Sloth from Goonies. Yeah. But Chris has a little better parallel for Machado. I think he does look like Shrek. Yes,
I think Sloth from Goonies is way too mean, but Shrek is spot on. I think Shrek is spot on. He did after Game 3, Machado did an interview on it wasn't on Fox. It must have been on ESPN or something. And he had headphones on. And I didn't recognize him for like 5 seconds.
You didn't know who he was?
It took me like a good 5 seconds.
Yep, I get that. Somebody in here, maybe it's Professor. Oh, Mad City Brew is going to be hard to recover about the Brewers. I'm with you. I mean, it was 1 week ago tonight that they had their epic collapse right here live. So no matter what happens today, it won't be that painful for me to experience. But that right on the heels of getting steamrolled by a Shohei Ohtani-led fantasy team in the fantasy finals, Brewers losing. My wife's car got hit. Thankfully, she's okay, but we're without a car for a couple weeks. And then my wallet got stolen, and people were spending fortunes at the local Big Five on my credit card. So it's been a rough week for me, Chris. I've really been looking forward to being able to talk about baseball cards and have a couple drinks.
That is a horrific week, Jeff. Every time you texted me some other, some other tragedy or some other horrible occurrence was going down. It was brutal. Yeah, and amazingly, though, despite all of that, there's been nothing new on the injury front, which I think is a win. So I'll trade all that stuff for your elbow, shoulder, and hand to feel okay.
Yeah, nothing worse. Nothing ventured, nothing gained, but nothing worse. Yeah, it was a rough week. But Chris, we missed you at softball last night. We had a softball game.
I'm sure it was fine.
It was fine. We did win. We put up a 10-run inning, which helped us to the victory. But yep, still could have used you there.
Wow. Yeah, all that beer in the parking lot doesn't drink itself, Jeff.
Yeah, Professor. There's a pretty good streak that the Brewers have going of losing to the eventual champions. So,
I mean, that's not bad. If you're going to lose, at least they, I think there was a couple of years in a row where the Braves kept getting, they kept losing to a team that would be like swept immediately right after. And that's way worse. Way worse. ATL Jeff Black pointed out a few comments ago that Freddie Freeman had said this was his first ever sprained ankle. It's been a rough year for that guy.
First ever sprained ankle, like in his life?
Apparently, yeah.
He's obviously played high-level sports for decades. Wow.
Yeah. And he runs, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, yeah, between the finger, the ankle, and his son, who seems to be doing a lot better based on Instagram, it's been a rough 2 months for Freddie.
Yep, he still managed to have a pretty amazing season, given all that.
Yeah.
ATL Jeff Black, I hope so. I just have to remind everybody, this week is my wife's show premieres. So on Monday, make sure you tune into NCIS Origins, the new NCIS show. That was one highlight of the week, Chris. I did get to go to the preview with her. Like, it was like a premiere for the cast and crew and people, and it was a lot of fun. So everybody check that out for me, please.
Yeah, and even if you don't plan on watching it, like, please record it just for the ratings.
Just bump those Nielsen's up.
Yeah. Stream it if you've got. Is it on
Paramount Plus?
Paramount? Yeah, stream Paramount it just in the background. Even if you don't like it, help us out. Every rating point is one more Cheerio. That's
right. One more Cheerio I can afford. All right, Chris. So how has it been out east? Have you guys been affected by these storms?
The only way I've personally been affected is my dad watching videos about it at max volume on a cell phone for about 10 hours a day.
Oh,
and I will tell you this, it's a huge improvement over what he normally watches on his cell phone at max volume for 10 hours a day. So honestly, it's a win-win here for us in Charlotte, but I don't mean to make light of it. It's a pretty horrible thing that's hitting Florida. I hope everyone there is going to be okay. If you're watching us with a generator down there in Florida, I appreciate the fandom.
Yeah, especially the back-to-back storms hitting some of the places. Yeah, it's bad. Yeah. And the stadium, do you see the stadium at Tampa Bay? It kind of ripped the whole roof off.
Again, and I hate to say this, some good news is that hopefully this hurricane will destroy the Trop. Like, maybe that's a win for Major League Baseball and a win for any remaining fans of the Rays, for that stadium to just be lifted and thrown into the ocean.
I kind of have a feeling that somehow the rest of baseball is going to end up paying to repair the Trop as a I don't know, goodwill gesture, I guess.
I feel like what's going to happen, Jeff, is like parts of some factory nearby are going to blow off and they're going to land on the roof and like exactly patch the roof.
Right. So they won't need to do anything at all. And it's just going to be back to the same old. Yeah. Yeah. Poor Tampa. Yeah. Professor, you're stuck in Florida. All right. Well, I do hear that Disney World is reopening tomorrow. So for those of you who are looking to go.
Kill some time. Yeah, Doc's Card points out real quick here, the Braves did fire pretty much almost every member of Brian Snicker's coaching staff except Walt Weiss. Hitting coach is gone. I think that the bullpen coach is gone, and two other guys.
Do? Is he like the bench coach?
Yeah, he's the bench coach. Yeah. Okay. So I mean, it can't be Kevin Seitzer's fault that every single person on the team was either hurt or had no concept of situational hitting. But maybe it worked. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that seems kind of a scapegoat move to be firing anybody to deal with that offense after the injuries that they've had. But
yeah.
But thank you for those of you who've tuned in to watch, because I know there's at least there's 2 baseball games going on right now, 2 playoff games, a football game. The NBA preseason has started, Chris. The Lakers are in Milwaukee playing the Bucks. So there's a lot of things to watch. So anybody who has us on, even on mute, it's appreciated.
Yeah, that's probably the best way. Maybe, I don't know, mute, but also with the screen down. Might be the best way to watch us. I did want to start the show, Jeff, by just really quickly showing a baseball card from 2023 that I recently discovered for the first time.
2023.
From 2023. And I like to talk about images on cards. And usually I complain about bad images, but I also talk a lot about good images. This might be the funniest card of 2023 because it's terrible. It's a player that we really like. It's Yordan Alvarez, who usually takes some pretty good photos. Like, he's a big dude. I
believe he has one of the most memorable cards in Chris's memory. His Smolder lives in Chris's psyche. So this would be the counterpoint to that, I guess. Yeah.
So this card, I saw it yesterday. I was just scrolling eBay and I'm like, I'd never seen it. I'm like, what the hell is this? So I'm going to share it with you guys. Tell me if you've seen it before, and you please tell me what is happening in this picture. All right. Hold on to your hats.
Yeah, preseason's not great, but I do like seeing my Bucks. NHL, yeah.
So this is from Topps Gilded, from 2023 Topps Gilded. And I don't know what this is.
Is he in the middle of a dance move?
It took me about a few minutes before I realized he is pointing up.
Okay, yeah, I see the pointing, but I don't know what his legs are doing here.
I don't know what his legs are doing.
Doc's cards. This is that football to the groin pose. That looks like what's happening. Like his legs just collapsed. He took one.
Yes, you could very easily Photoshop a football going right into his groin. To me, it looks like a paralyzed person in a wheelchair that just got lifted up, and his legs are just kind of hanging there, or he's dancing to something. This is the weirdest card. I find myself just staring at this for a while. I don't know, Jeff.
I've not seen that before. This is what set is this from again? Gilded. So there's not a lot of these printed.
Well,
Dave saying this exaggerates how we've talked before about how scrawny giant Yordan's calves are, but practicing to be a mime, maybe.
Running like mime practice is good.
Yes, running like Kenny Smith.
Mime practice is very funny. I like that. Yes, those are Yordan's legs. For someone as big and strong as he is, he definitely. I don't think he does leg day, Jeff.
No, we've seen his workout pictures before from the offseason, and he looks like he has the calves of like an 80-year-old woman.
Yeah, Doc's cards. I don't know.
Right. It's so weird. Dave Plummerman said a half second before or after would have been better. No doubt. This, as Doc said, there's 400 of it. Yeah. Jess, he's walking like he weighs 400 pounds. Yeah, it's like he just can't. He's struggling to make it home, perhaps.
Yeah, I don't know. This is like the shot, those lifting videos of someone who just did like they max rep to squat, and then they try to walk away from the squat rack and collapse.
Walk away and just kind of stumble and collapse like an ATST walker from Return of the Jedi.
Hey, curator of cardboard says a Pinocchio casting tryout. I mean, it's just weird. Like, what's he doing? He's screaming at the same time.
Screaming, pointing. He's doing the stanky leg, Jake says.
I mean, that's not impossible. I could see that.
Chris, I have to say, it almost makes me want to get this card. And I know it doesn't really fit with my famous headwear cards, but I do kind of like it.
Maybe we need a skinny leg collection.
Skinny leg card collection.
Yeah. I feel like also
leg day collection. People who skip leg day collection.
Boy, poor Brent Maine is just never going to live that one down.
No. So what happened? The Guardians forced Game 5.
That's what based on some of the screaming I'm hearing. My dad doesn't understand why all hitters can't just hit whoever's pitching. So I tried to explain, like, Emmanuel Clase is really, like, he's incredible. No one ever touches him. And then, of course, Kerry Carpenter, like, just takes him yard. So the same guy comes in tonight. And he's blowing everyone away. And my dad's like, why can't they hit him? Why are they swinging at these pitches? But
Well, Teapot loves closers. We know that. So too bad this closer shut his team down. Oh, and here's the second sloth reference of the day. So now we've not only got Manny Machado as sloth, but also Yordan Alvarez.
Wow. 15 minutes in, and we've talked about the Goonies twice. This is going to be a good show, Jeff.
Oh, Goonies are good enough. 5-game series. Scooball's going to pitch one more time, right?
Yes. I feel like if you're a Tigers fan, this is what you'd take it. One game to go to the ALCS, and you got the best pitcher in the American League on the mound for you.
Curator. He did go yard, and they took the lead at that point, although they gave it up.
This postseason's really weird, Jeff.
I'll second that.
I feel like at this point, like, how many actually good teams are left? Like you look at them and you're like, that's like a potentially dominant. That's a really good team. Like,
we were talking about that at the game last night, the softball game, and I was saying that there's very little championship pitching left, like a championship pitching staff. I thought the Phillies had the best staff
by far.
I mean, there's just holes in just about everybody else that's left, right?
Massive holes. I mean, we could go team by team. I really feel like
just with the pitching, but yes, then you get to the offense on some of these teams, and there's holes as well. It seems like a wide open year, doesn't it?
It really does. It really. Vin Gons, I'm with you. That Lindor Grand Slam had better be on at least one card next year. And great. I say this as someone who's still waiting for the Acuna moment to be on a card. But Kevin Morales, I think that, to me, those are the two best teams left, and they have to play each other. Last night as well. I don't know. I mean, if this turns in, imagine, Jeff, we get like a Mets Tigers World Series.
We could. Boy, baseball would go crazy if that were the case.
Yeah.
MLB. Dodgers threw 8 guys last night. And yes, Dodgers might have, not for the injuries, but even the guys that have come back. I mean, I thought they'd get a little more out of Buehler than they have. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, the Dodgers pitching staff has been riddled with injuries, but as a Braves fan, they're not going to get 1 ounce of compassion or sympathy from me. But yeah, I mean, the Royals, the Royals can't hit. I cannot believe the Phillies didn't beat the Mets. That to me, if you're a Mets fan, congratulations. Like, that's awesome. I got a couple Mets fans, and they're Mets fan friends, and they're very excited. But I cannot believe, I thought Philly would steamroll that. And for 7 innings in game 1.
I thought that's exactly what was going to happen. And especially after they had to play, like they were playing with their backs to the wall that entire last week, essentially. Yep. The doubleheader against the Braves, then those pretty high leverage games against the Brewers. I didn't think they'd have anything left for the Phillies, and I thought the Phillies would handle them, but it was bad.
Nobody hit. You saw that someone posted like the cumulative box score up on for the Phillies offense on Instagram, and it was Harper was the only guy over an OBP over 250.
Yeah, he got absolutely no help.
No. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. And they were the healthiest team too, going into the playoffs, it seemed like.
Yes. Yeah, they were the one team that seemed to escape the major injuries. Hoops and Homers, that is Stadium Club, which there's no longer Stadium Club Chrome. It's officially just Stadium Club. They're going to have Chrome back in there like they used to. Yep. But there's no standalone Stadium Club Chrome product. And to our chagrin, all of the Chrome autos in there are stickers.
They appear to be stickers, yeah. Yeah.
Frustrating.
It's extremely frustrating. 308 Sniper here says Walker Buehler's horrible. As he's a Dodger fan and he wants to see him gone. Well, buddy, you're going to get your wish because he's a free agent, and I don't think he's going to stay there. I feel like with what happened with the Dodgers pitching, Jeff, they're going to throw money at guys they think are reliable. And I don't know who those guys are.
Corbin Burns, probably.
Maybe Max Fried, but I mean, I don't think, is he reliable? I'm not sure he fits that description. I don't know. It'll be pretty interesting. And any pitcher out there.
No, I mean,
sounds like the opposite. It's actually kind of what they need. He's terrible for 2 months, and then he's unhittable.
Yeah. So if they get the unhittable when they need it. Kevin says that the Phillies ended the season 50-48. So they, I guess they were just that good when they started. Because didn't they win 98 games? Or am I imagining that?
They had a very soft like opening first half schedule, and they killed it. They did what you're supposed to do, and they just absolutely dominated it. But then Harper had that cold streak, and Schwarber disappeared for a little while. Turner never got. I mean, I get it, but still, those names on paper, that's nuts.
Yeah.
But if you're a Phillies fan, that's pretty much how I felt as a Braves fan for 2 straight years.
Yeah. So what are you thinking? Mets. So
you just have. You'd have to feel like, Jeff, whoever wins Game 5 of the Padres and Dodgers has a real good chance to steamroll the Mets, but maybe not.
I mean, the Mets are kind of reminding me of the Diamondbacks last year when they handled the Brewers and they just kind of worked their way right to the World Series, right?
Yeah, and aren't the 2 most expensive people on the Mets payroll like not on their team?
Who's that?
Like Verlander and Scherzer. Remember last year, like they I think they ate the money to get prospects last year.
Yeah, well, I know they're paying a big chunk of. I think Scherzer's being paid by 3 teams this year.
I believe so. Yeah,
at least.
Oh, Doc's Cards. I watch this a lot too, and I love there's a Michael Harris video when he was like a teenager watching that home run happen, and that's really cool. All right, hold on. Let's see here.
Yeah, Hoops and Homers. I was going to mention that as well. Yeah, Bobby Bonilla is still on there.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of teams are doing that.
Yeah.
Like it's not. I think isn't Griffey still getting paid by the Reds too? I think.
Yeah. They were just a little ahead of the curve. I think his contract's almost up. He's only got like 5 years left on that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, as a fan of baseball, I want to see Ohtani go as far as he can. But yeah, this Game 5 is going to be intense because these 2 teams, the Padres and Dodgers, hate each other. Jeff, the coaches don't like each other. The coaches don't like the players. The players don't like.
I wish they should be 7-game series. You just love to see rivals get to play 7 games. I don't know. It's like they're kind of half-ass going towards the NBA deal, but not completely because the NBA has, once you get into the playoffs, you have your play-in, kind of the wild card system. But once you're in, you get a 7-game series. And I think that's great for rivalries. I think it really, the longer the series, it eliminates a lot of the chance there. The better team's going to win the longer the series is. So I don't know. I wish it was 7.
Yeah, it just seems like it goes.
Brailer likes the short 5-game series. Every game is important. Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. I mean, I get that. I get that perspective too. But the whole idea of baseball is that the regular season was supposed to be the most important. If you remember when the playoffs originally started, the World Series was 9 games.
Yes,
100 years ago, best of 9. Oh yeah, Scherzer. Thank you for the crack research. Receiving $15 million from the Nationals, $30.8 million from the Mets, and $12.5 million from the Rangers for all of his efforts this year.
Wow. Kate, our inaugural trivia winner, says that Lindor is at $31 million this year, so that might put him in the top 2. That's a lot. I didn't realize he was quite that high, but I know he signed that extension. Whew, I tell you. Yeah, Jorge's Cards. This was really interesting. This whole Machado with Dave Roberts thing is kind of interesting. I got a friend who's super fired up about it, but I mean, I watched the video. They keep coming up with new angles, and he's not like. I feel like if Machado wanted to thread a needle and hit Dave Roberts with a ball, like he would have done it. I think this is a complete nothing burger, so to speak.
I do too. You're talking about when he flipped the ball in there?
Yeah. The ball was thrown around the infield. He looked at it and just tossed it aside. Yeah. I don't get it. I don't know. It wasn't a great look for Dave Roberts to talk about. Like, well, he wasn't sure what the intent was, but it felt like there was intent. Like, just dismiss it. Just move on.
Yeah. You're above it.
The Padre manager. If anyone saw the Padre manager's quotes, it was fantastic. Exactly what you would want your manager to say.
What did he say?
He was just like, it's a non-issue. I don't need to defend my players. And just moved on. Talked positively, briefly, and then just moved on.
Good. Yeah, Will. So then think about the 3-game series. Here you're the Brewers. You win a division over 162 games, and you get the variance in a 3-game series. It's just dumb. Yeah,
that's the team for whom it stinks the most is the third place division winner, if that makes sense.
If you're going to set up divisions and make it a priority to win your division, then there's got to be more of an advantage than just getting home games.
Oof. Wow.
$57 million to ride the pine. As Blake says, taxes must be a nightmare in all those states. Poor guy.
Yeah, he'll be all right. Yeah, it looks like Verlander was making 44 this year, but or 43 this year, but I don't know how much of that the Mets were eating.
Yeah, they're probably not covering the whole thing.
But ay.
Hey, Wills, this is exactly right. If you're going to have a 3-game series, get rid of the divisions. What they should do, Chris, and I don't know if you know this, but basketball, so the NBA, traditionally, they've had 8 teams in each conference make the playoffs. That's just how it's been for a long time, I think 20 years or something.
Okay.
They decided to expand it. So now there's a play-in tournament. So the 9th and 10th teams get a chance to play in. So if you're not guaranteed to be in the playoffs, unless you finish in the top 6, then you have a play-in. So 9 plays 10, and then the loser goes home. The winner's got to play the next team to advance.
Okay.
You get a series of 1-game play-ins, which if you're going to complain about that, then finish higher than 7th in your conference. But I like that because then it doesn't make the other team sit around too long. But once you're in the playoffs, then you're in. You've got 7 games. So I wish they would do that.
I had no idea any of that took place. I'm generally aware of the thing you refer to as the NBA.
The guy's point where every game means something. They are exciting because it's 1 game to win or go home. But there should be more of a reward for doing well during an eternal regular season.
Agreed. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 2 games doesn't seem quite enough. But
yeah, as Kate says, it feels like playoff baseball. It's just a tournament. Yeah, it's become a tournament, and
yeah. I don't know. I'm not ready to say the layoff is killing these teams. I don't think that's it. I
don't think so either. But if they made each round 7 games and you had over a week layoff, that's a little too much to ask. Yeah. ATL Jeff Black says reseeding after the wild card round, like the NFL does. That's an option. Blake says pick 4 or 8 playoff teams for series-based sports. Anything in between is silly. Yeah, I know they want to reward those top seeds to give them buys, but it just makes it really tough. It makes it just the advantage is greater than seems like what is deserved after a 6-month season.
Very true. Okay. I think it's still 2-0 Yankees, if I'm not mistaken. Bobby Witt not having the ALDS he was hoping for. But real quick, Jeff, how about we run through a couple IG shout-outs?
Great. Love it.
All right. Yeah, Jeremy Smallwood, before we get to that, what Jeremy Smallwood said is something Jeff and I have kind of talked about quite a bit, that the Major League Baseball seems to be heading in this direction.
I don't think they're ever going to do it, but we've talked about the advantages this would have, especially when you have no salary cap like the Premier League does versus the other North American sports that do have a salary cap. This would make more sense because then if you're a small market team, you can still compete and win a championship, even if it's the B League championship to move up.
Yeah. And I think it would give some of these smaller market teams, like it's impossible. I mean, teams like Milwaukee, I mean, somehow they did compete the last couple of years and great for them. But someone like Pittsburgh,
it's just the windows are so small because then you lose your guys. But it'd be great to see Skeens pitch in some meaningful games. If he's in Pittsburgh his whole career, I don't know if that's ever going to happen.
Yeah, and if it is, it's like he'll have like a 2-year run at it, like McCutchen did. And they ran into Bumgarner one year and I think Arrieta the other year, and they got shut out twice and they never made it back.
Yeah.
The
windows are so short, then they lose their best players.
Yeah.
Exactly. Chris, before that, let's just take Kevin says PSA submission time. Yep, for Chris and I, it was PSA submission time. If you're on Instagram, you saw Chris post a couple reels of the submissions we put through. And I'd like to give Burbank Cards a shout out. I went there today. It was much busier than the last time I went there, and I was able to walk right up. This time, I think there are more people aware of it, and the line went around the corner. But to their credit, they moved pretty fast, and I got to talk to a lot of people in line about the hobby. There were some people that watched this show, so shout out to you guys. And Rob was out there talking shop with everybody, telling us about the new store and how they expect to be open in December and all the cool things that are going to be there. So shout out to Burbank for having an in-person PSA drop-off. It takes at least one of the stressful parts about PSA submitting out of the way, the mailing of the cards there. So kudos.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jeff sent me a picture when he got into that line, and I could not tell where he was. Like there was no, like the Burbank store was just like a dot in the distance.
Around the corner. Yeah. But the in-person drop-off, if you guys can do that, I know PSA is starting to do that more around the country, and it definitely is worthwhile.
Yeah, but real quick, just want to. Kevin Morales talks about the Kershaw Golds. There's a gentleman on Instagram. His name is Stadium Gold Minted Collector. Hold on. If I'm gonna say it, Jeff, I got to look it up and make sure I say it right.
Yeah,
I got to get it right. I want to say it's just Gold Minted Collector. Is that what he calls himself? Yes. So this is a buddy I play softball with, and I'll just pull it up. And he's been wanting to get into some grading. So Jeff and I, we're like, hey, you want to piggyback our PSA sub? And he just, at one of our games, he just handed me the stack of absolutely gorgeous Stadium Club Gold Minted Clayton Kershaws.
Yeah, that's nice.
You just don't see these cards a lot, especially like the 17, the 18, and the 19. Those are really, really hard to track down. But he was hyper focused over the last like 6 months and managed to do it. But we were excited to add those to our sub and drop those off.
Fun to get those in. The Ozzy, Chris, that you have.
Oh yeah.
Those that's the very rare Bowman variation autos, rookie autos.
Like, basically like a Bowman Chrome SSP with an auto.
Yeah.
And then we had all those Heritage Blacks from Ginterwood Minis that are in there.
Yeah. Some SPs, some SSPs. I got my couple Cheerios in there.
Yeah, some bonus cards went in there too that didn't quite make the reel.
Yeah, added a couple left. So yeah, when we do the blind reveal eventually, that'll be a lot of fun. This is great if this is true, Matt. I didn't see this, but Lindor's batting glove is going to be used for Dynasty Black card. Love it.
Yeah, I think I just saw this post from Topps. Yeah, I think this is sort of what we talked about this on Spitballing. This is the thing that Topps is going to keep doing. And as long as stuff like this gets in there, it's exciting and it's sure as hell a lottery ticket. Like there's no other way to look at it. But those cards are going to be really cool. And if you're a Mets fan, you got to buy a box and roll the dice.
Yeah, try to get one of those. Kevin, you waited. So you were at Burbank. You waited an hour and a half. I was there, and originally it wasn't moving for like the first 20 minutes I was in line. Then it moved pretty well. So I think I ended up being there a little over an hour, maybe. Professor, the good news is for me that I have to. The bad news is they weren't great. They weren't perfect. So there's still some perfect ones out there. I hope you guys can find them and get some 10s.
So Will Z Sports Car. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, Lucky Peter. Yeah, Lucky Peter. That Jose Fernandez opening day is awesome. I've only seen it twice. So when this one came up and the seller was on Instagram, like we had to, like we couldn't let 2 dinosaur cards go by, Jeff.
That's right. Yep. Not enough dinosaur cards.
No, definitely not enough dinosaur cards. Do you want to respond to what Will Z is asking here?
Sure. And I saw Shelly asking if we sent the red Cheerio in. We did. That one's also in this sub. So Wills, I have some big cards and BGS slabs I like to try to cross. Can you just walk into PSA and do that, or do you need to make appointments for that? You can no longer walk into PSA for anything. You can't do any in-person drop-offs at PSA. That's why these in-person drop-offs, the one I'm talking about, which was at Burbank Sports Cards, are nice because then you don't have to mail. But you would have to do it. So you have to fill out the paperwork online. You go for their graded card review, and you can try. Oh, there she is. And you can specify a minimum grade, and then you send it off. And if it fits the minimum, they'll crack it, put it in the BGS, send it back with the put it in the PSA, send it back with the BGS sticker or holder. And if it doesn't, they just send it back to you as is. But you do get charged. So the more expensive the card, the more you're going to pay. So if it's a really pricey card, you might pay $500, $800 for them to look at it and say no. So it's a tough decision to do the graded card crossover. We've done it a couple times, but you better make sure it has really good subs, or you're willing to accept a 9 instead of demanding a 10.
Yeah, I looked at our record on this in the past 18 months, where Jeff and I are at about just, I think, 55%. That's our total for crossover. So we've gotten a few successes, but we're pretty much right down the middle.
And Chrome cards we've found to be more successful. Chrome cards with high subgrades, because if they have any doubts about what they can see through that plastic, they're not going to cross it. They've got to be pretty sure that they're going to see it. And the Chrome cards seem, especially with corners, little firmer corners and edges, they're able to see it a little easier.
Yes, and a 10 surface grade on any Chrome card really, really helps, because then I think they can kind of assume that even though they can't see through those multiple plastic layers, that it should be crossable as far as that condition part goes.
Yeah, Jeremy, I always wondered if you're better off cracking and sending it in. Figure the other grade would bias them. This is an eternal question. You don't really know. For us, if it has good subgrades, we'd rather send it in. But if it doesn't, like if you have a 9 on there, have we sent any that have a 9 on, Chris? No. Because I just don't feel like that. Even if it has 3 10s and a 9 or 3 9.5s and a 9, I don't think they're going to give you. So I believe that it does bias it. So I would not send those in. If you're really considering that, I would consider cracking it and sending. Yeah,
but be forewarned, cracking is dicey. We have cracked out at least 2 off the top of my head. I can think of Pure Gem / Pure Gem Pluses, and there's a huge mark on the surface underneath there that we couldn't see. And it's like, how does that get a 9.5 on the surface?
Yes.
So sometimes you can get penalized for what is essentially, I'll admit it, it's a little bit greedy. You know, we want the higher grade on the card. We want our cards to be worth more money. Unfortunately, it's part of the game. ATL Jeff Black. Go ahead.
Okay, I was just going to say, so we have learned that, to Chris's point, that we've even got a couple cards that I've looked at recently through the cases, and you can kind of see there might be some issues there. So we're content with leaving it in what it's in now and just taking it that way.
Yeah, which is crazy because the gap there, Jeff, between a BGS 9.5 and a PSA 10 is just growing and growing and growing and growing.
Right. And, eventually, it might get to the point where if you can get a PSA 9, it's better than 9.5. I don't think it's there yet, but eventually, if that comes, then it might give you a little more leeway when sending in.
Yeah, I would say if you have like any min gems and you're happy with I say a min gem and a PSA 9 are really, really close. Really, they're probably about the same quality of card. But
yeah, I have a couple Bowman Chrome first autos that fit that category. I have not done the transfer yet to the 9. I've been keeping them in the 9.5, but maybe that's not smart.
Yeah. ATL Jeff Black here says he subs through Got Baseball Cards in Georgia. Like if you can find a shop near you that does kind of bulk subs, like that's another good way to go. It just feels like maybe that mail would be a little bit more secure for whatever reason than just mailing it yourself. I don't know.
Will says, don't apologize, Chris. Gordon Gecko says, greed is good. And the other thing is, there is something about the continuity in our collection, having it in PSA slabs is.
Yes, the OCD does not like it when a shelf has like 6 PSA slabs and then one bulky BGS or a big SGC on there.
One thing I would say, Wills, and we've encountered this a few times over the last few years, is BGS is tougher on centering than PSA. So you don't necessarily need a 10 on centering from BGS to get a 10 centering from PSA. So in fact, we've had a couple BGS slabs that have got 9 on centering, but they had really good other subgrades, and we've cracked them and sent them and been able to get PSA gems. So centering is the one spot where BGS is less lenient than, is less lenient than PSA. Usually for the other categories, it's the other way around.
This was funny from Curator Cardboard. How the hell do we find other card collectors like this? And I will say, I have to say, we did sort of convert James, a gold minted collector, a little bit. He was interested. He liked the Dodgers. He always asked me questions, before and after the games. And then he started watching some videos, and I showed him a gold minted card, and I saw his eyes, his pupils got all dilated, and then it was done. Sometimes that's all it takes. One gold minted card in your hand, Jeff, and it can be over just like that.
Vin, BGS crossover to PSA, but it came back N6 minimum size and didn't cross over. I was a bit confused. Yeah, there's no real rhyme or reason to the N6 minimum size. We've had that as well. Have we had that with a crossover, Chris? I can't remember if we've had that with
with an Acuna that we tried to cross over, and we thought that maybe they're being nice. Like maybe the person, the greater,
That's what we thought, Vin, because if they send it back N6 minimum size, you don't get charged. If they send it back and say it doesn't qualify, then you do get charged. So that's right. Yeah, they sent the Acuna back, and we're like, all right, well, they didn't charge us for it.
Yeah.
Great
Hoops
card.
and Homers, Hoops and Homers is damn right. The 2017 SSBs are really, they live up to their namesake, Jeff. And this one's cool. we've talked about it before, but we really like, give me 2 Hall of Famers with 30 home runs combined, something like that.
That's a lot of home runs right there.
Yeah. I mean, they're both Dominican. They probably have known each other for a long time. I'm sure they played like as kids together. It's just a really cool card. I like it.
Yeah. Hoops and homers, BGS slabs. As our friend Jake talked about recently with the judge card that he had, he really hates the fact that they put them in sleeves inside because it really clouds them up, especially if it's a nice shiny gold or a refractor that you can't get that same refractor color.
Congrats, Plumberman. That's a great sub right there.
Oh, what Shohei SSP,
right?
And Caitlin Clark auto. Those have to be pretty valuable these days.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I could not help but be amused when the ESPN was talking about the ratings dip after the Fever were eliminated. It was something like 91% lower. Like people just stopped watching. That's pretty funny.
I hope she gets paid.
I hope so too. I really do. Docs cards, I don't think you'd have to worry about the upcharge here. It would be a nice color match. The Ohtani blue with the Dodgers. I bet that would look great. And I wonder how many people
have some leeway. I mean, if you've seen, if no raws have sold for more than $400 or $500, you shouldn't have to worry about that at all.
Yeah. I wouldn't get too upset about that. I do wonder how many of those, like, if Ohtani's going to win the MVP, how many of those blues do you think will get dropped off at for hobby shop credit?
Good question. Right. So we may lose that. Although, what happens to those, Chris? Are they technically buybacks?
Yeah. So I mean, well, they all. Yeah. I think they all go back to Topps, and then Topps puts some back. They stamp them, and they put some in the set for next year. And I think there's some very limited autos, but
limited autos, that would be fun to get one of those. Yeah.
I imagine most of them just get thrown into an incinerator or something, but I have no idea.
Curator of cardboard. Okay, this is a lot of words. Help me get through this, Chris. PSA 9 with a 10 auto, greater than a BGS 9.5 auto 10. So cracking that with a chance that 10 is worth it. But tell yourself PSA slab is okay for the PC for continuity. All right, well, most PSA cards aren't going to have the auto grade. Some will.
Right.
Some won't, but you're just looking at a PSA 9 versus a BGS 9.5, essentially.
Yeah, and like, I mean, we could talk about those auto grades and how significant they are or are not. I mean, keep in mind that auto grade is only how the condition of the auto when the grade was given. True. I mean, I can show you a BGS 9.5 with a 10 auto, and that auto is faded to hell and back. So, I mean,
yeah, could be sitting in some dealer's case out in the show or in the wild for 10 years.
Yeah, I'm not a huge. The auto grades don't really. Jeff and I do not go out of our way to add auto grades to things, and we have in fact sent cards in that we bought with like 8 and 9 auto grades and just removed the auto grade.
Get that off there. PSA insists on card savers. Thick cards, I still send in card savers, and I've sent some pretty thick cards. I sent the Giannis card that was about a 1/4 inch thick. Just make sure you have the big card savers, and then it won't ding the corners. You can send that. You can send it in other things. Sometimes they'll ding you or give you a charge, and sometimes they won't. But for my experience, I've had better luck just going with what they're asking for.
Yeah, Kate makes a kind of an interesting point here. Guys that change their autos. And I think of 2 people right off the bat, Jeff. Ohtani, who changed his after 2021, I think. Maybe after 2020. I think maybe after 2020. So I feel like all those originals are going to be they're going to be way more desirable than the new one. And also, we have to point it out, Jackson Merrill, who took his full name auto from Topps Chrome and just kind of pissed all over it with the letter J in Sapphire. And I wonder if going forward, if that's what I'm looking forward to seeing what his Stadium Club autos are.
Right. Is he going to continue to just go with that?
Yeah. Is it just a J from now on? If that is, those Topps Chrome autos, I think those bumped up a little bit, Jeff.
Yeah. But the tough part is that, does the grade really matter on that?
I mean, it's all about eye appeal, right?
Right. So the J will still get a 10. They'll still give it a 10 because it's his auto, unless it's faded or streaky. It's probably more likely to get a 10 because there's not enough room for it to streak on.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's just a quality J. It's just a really well-written J.
Bench is cleared. I like the sound of this. Royale, fill us in.
Yeah, what's going on? I saw it's 3-0 Yankees now.
Oh, all right. And this is the clincher for the Yankees, right? If they win, they're in.
Yep.
So if they win, they're in. We get 2 Game 5s.
Yeah, 2 Game 5s.
Not bad.
That should be. Yeah.
Gonna slide into second. Maybe it was Fernando Vina, Albert Bell situation.
Well, he didn't say somebody died.
Right.
But yeah, there are some interesting. PSA did change some stuff, which is definitely worth taking a look at before you sub anything. If you're going to do any subs of late, they can now. Yeah, they can do. The upcharges can now be automatic without your up to like $500. I think.
Yeah, they used to have to email you, and then they had to wait for a response from you before they could continue in the process.
Yeah, now they're just like, we're going to take some money from you.
Yeah, and for most of us, that's a good sign anyway, because that means it's getting a higher grade, and probably more valuable. So usually we're okay with that.
Yeah, pretty much. We do take that. I think only once, Jeff, we fought a charge, right? Like you sent in a Juan Soto auto that we knew. I think it was altered, and we were just trying to get it slabbed like authentic or something, and they upcharged the hell out of us. And you did a really good job fighting that.
Yeah, I just sent an explanation with the whole reason that I sent it, as I told them, was just to get authenticated, and they can't be comparing it to PSA 9 and 10 sales. And they agreed. So they said, okay. But that was, as Chris said, I think that's the only time we've contested an upcharge. Most of the time, we're happy to take it.
Yeah, it's fun actually when we get we do a blind reveal on a sub, and we get an email that says like 1 card, and we're like, ooh, like, what card in here did we get the upcharge on?
Yeah.
But anyway, what was I just gonna say? I don't know. Do we are judge holders out there, or judge and wit holders? Are we concerned about 4 games with very, very little offensive production? Personally, I'm not, but I don't know. Jeff, what do you think?
Yeah, I hear in the little bit I saw the game tonight, they were talking about that. Just Witt's lack of production, but in a very small sample size. Judge's sample size is getting bigger and bigger, right?
It is getting everything about Judge is bigger and bigger. Yeah,
getting bigger. Yeah. So the bigger the sample size, the less skepticism you have to have towards it. So yeah, I'm a little concerned. The thing for either of those guys, whoever advances, they're going to get another week and a half or 2 weeks to try to redeem their reputation, and I think their cards are going to show that. So whichever one goes on, I think their cards are going to have more life for sure.
It was really interesting. In a Spitballing video, we talked about this, and the comments I would say were about split down the middle, but people saying like, oh, choke artists, like, Judge and Bet. One guy was like, Judge and Bet should have no value because they can't hit in October, which is a really stupid thing to say. But some people defending them, some people not. I mean, Judge's batting average stinks for sure, but I think he still has like 13 homers in about 45 games, give or take. That works out to well
Dave
over 30.
Says he's 1 for 2 tonight with a run and a walk, so he's gotten on base 2 out of 3 times. Right. Witt just got a hit. That's nice to hear. ATL Jeff Black says Judge stays cold but gets a ring. No one will care. I mean, I think it's important for him to get a ring, absolutely. But if he ends up going his whole career being just lukewarm in the playoffs, it seems like a missed opportunity for him to get legendary status.
Right. A ring is still a ring, though. I mean, a Yankee hater like me may troll an occasional Yankee fan friend of ours who will remain nameless, but a ring is a ring. I mean, Acuna has a ring, and he didn't do a ton in that World Series, as I recall.
Yeah, I think that was not the strong part of his season.
No, but
a ring is a ring, absolutely. And Kate, we've talked about this on Spitballing as well. And this does seem to be the case that the playoffs help a player's hobby value, but poor performance shouldn't necessarily be held against them given the sample size. And I think for the most part that's true, especially as time goes on. Case in point, we really value Ortiz in his role in the hobby because of his superhuman performance in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, he's a legend for what he did in the playoffs. Somehow he only has 2 postseason MVPs. It feels like he should have 6. But yeah, I mean, it was 2004. I think he had like 3 or 4 walk-off hits in that one like postseason.
One postseason, yeah.
Absurd stuff. And let's not forget that amazing throw he made in the World Series, playing first base for the first time in like 3 years.
What was that?
He backpicked like Jeff Suppan rounding third base in one of the first, maybe the first St. Louis game.
Jeff Suppan doing rounding third base anyway.
Yeah.
Curator. Betts is trying to change the narrative on his career too, right? I heard he took 400 swings in his off day and then came back, narrowly missed a home run, then had 2 more. He's getting a lot of hits. So yeah, I feel like if the Dodgers advance and Betts keeps this up, he's going to go a long way towards erasing that reputation.
Yeah, I saw Dave Dixon says Judge needs a Lindor moment. And I think it's important to understand Lindor moments, like those are incredibly rare. Not every great player has those moments. Lindor, I mean, that is an insane grand slam.
Well, and how about the week? How about starting that week with that hit against the Braves, right?
Yeah.
And then, I mean, he's had 2 huge moments. You and I haven't been huge Lindor fans as far as the hobby, just because I don't know, he doesn't really seem to move the needle. And I think his disappointing start in New York and the team had been so terrible with him there. But there's no denying that if he keeps this up, he's really cementing his legacy and his
yes. I would say the needle moved. I think there were quite a few Bowman Chrome autos for Lindor selling over the last like 24 hours or so. Most likely all to Mets fans, and rightly so.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a legend for Mets fans forever.
Yep.
Absolutely forever. I mean, he hit like an 8th inning grand slam to eliminate the Phillies from the playoffs. I mean,
the heavily favored Phillies. Yeah.
That's nuts. Like that's storybook stuff. You don't get to see that very often. So I have a couple, like I said, I have some Mets fans friends who are absolutely just blowing up my phone, really, really excited.
I'm getting a lot of blow up on Instagram from Lindor collectors too, finally getting some respect. And yeah, these are the kind of moments that, to Kate's point, really can elevate somebody. And Lindor maybe have been forgotten for his time with the Indians and his less than stellar start. Even though the last couple of years he's had 30-30 seasons and
very quiet 30-30 seasons.
Top 5 MVP. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, ATL Jeff Black. This came up a few times on Instagram, right? Way Lindor just put his head down, ran the bases, was more wild than if he did some crazy bat flip. Yeah, he just very, very professional, expecting to be there. That was a fun change of pace to see. I mean, I don't hold anything against anybody celebrating a big home run. I love it. I love seeing the excitement, but it's also fun to see that.
Yeah, it reminded me. I'm going to drop some NFL knowledge on you here, but it reminded me of Barry Sanders. He would score in Detroit and just flip the ball to the ref every time. Loved it. Royce Benjamin talks about kind of conversely when Seager hit that home run to tie game 1 in the 9th. I remember he was just like slammed his bat down and went nuts. Like that was cool. I thought there's an SSP right there, but I got to stop saying that because I'm always wrong.
Blake's throwing World Series. All that matters for playoff boost long term. No one will remember division performance 10 years from now. Well, I'll dispute no one because Chris remembers all of those. He remembers like he's a playoff baseball savant. So some people will remember it. I agree mostly with the premise that the ring is what counts, but people are going to remember big playoff runs. They might not remember the specifics, but like Chris said, that Ortiz playoff run where he just was dominant throughout the entire playoffs, that's memorable, even without just the World Series.
Yeah, it's certainly for the local fan bases. Maybe he might be right about the national attention, but I mean, I don't know. A grand slam at home in Game 4 to eliminate. I think the Phillies had like the best record in the playoffs, right? I mean, people are going to remember that. We're going to see that swing a lot in the next like 5 years.
Yeah,
we're going to see it a lot.
Mad City Brew, and Chris can attest to this too. Yes, the losers of some of these moments are going to remember them. I'll remember that Pete Alonso home run against the Brewers. Yeah. So some people will remember non-World Series moments.
Did you watch the John Boy breakdown, the pitch tipping?
Somebody earlier was saying they were hoping to see an SSP for Devin Williams with his tipping pitches. It makes sense. Smart.
I like Kate Kraske here saying that AJ Minter will absolutely have a market in Atlanta, and Tyler Matzik for sure will always have a market in Atlanta. Especially, I know he signs a lot of baseballs. Tyler Nutsack Matzik, and those have really taken off. In like the Facebook groups I'm in that are Braves fans. Like I don't know how often he's willing to do that, but those are super popular. Yeah, and probably one of the most important middle relievers in franchise history, if not the. Oh, we don't have to talk about that.
You remember this, Chris?
Yeah, they scored the Braves give up like 9 runs in the first inning.
Well, There you
And
go.
then
See, I told you Chris would remember it. Jimmy Leyritz, 96.
That was the World Series. That
World
wasn't
Series, though, yeah.
But yeah, moving on. What was I going to say?
Ever say the name Jim Leyritz around?
No, never.
Oh, there's some threats in the chat.
No, absolutely no. I don't ever want to see it. Benjamin says, I remember Ortiz stealing third for the rest of my life. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Ozuna stealing third for the rest of my life. Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you, speaking of horrible memories for Braves fans, I still remember 2020, game 7 against the Dodgers. The Braves were up in this game and they had second and third and nobody out. And I think they were looking to put a dagger in the Dodgers in game 7. And I forget who was on the mound for the Dodgers. Doesn't matter. But Nick Markakis was at the plate. And it was a battle, like a lot of foul balls. This at bat just kept going and kept going. And I'm just thinking, like, any fly ball, we're going to score at least one run. We're going to go up. I think it was 3-1 at that point or 3-0. Like, we're going to extend the lead. We could put the game away right here. All I will tell you is, again, second and third, no one out. Nick Markakis up. When the at-bat was done, Jeff, there were 2 outs, and Nick Markakis was on first base.
And they lost the game.
Jeez.
What happened on that play?
He one-hopped. He had a line drive one-hopper to the only infielder on the left side of the infield. I forget who it was. And they got the runner broke from third, so they got that guy in a rundown. And Austin Riley, who was on second, it's like his head exploded. He just kept like going back and forth as the other guy was in the rundown. And then he tried to come to third right as they were tagging. Finally, he committed to go to third as they tagged the runner from third, and they just threw to third and he was out by like 10 feet. So, I mean, it was horrific to watch.
Do you remember watching that? Do you remember feeling like that moment was going to cost you? I mean, I feel like I've watched that in sports where it's an early part of a game and something bad happens to your team and you're like, that's it.
This wasn't that early. This was that was like the 5th or 6th inning. But yeah, okay. I was sick. I felt like I was going to throw up. Like I felt like what I was watching was
going to come back to bite you.
Like if you had asked me what's the worst case scenario in this at bat, I would say like a line drive double play where at least we'd have 2 outs and like a runner at second.
Yeah.
But no. That was brutal.
Mad City said he used to remember baseball moments like you, but his teenagers drained all my brain cells. Yeah, I think the kids definitely do that. They take up brain space. Yeah. Kate says she was in Texas for the COVID NLCS when the Braves gave up 13 in the top of the first.
Yeah, wow. In 2020, the Braves pitching was in shambles in the NLCS. So they threw, I want to say it was Kyle Wright. And they were just like, go get him, buddy. Like, eat up some innings for us. He didn't. And then the next guy came in. They were punting, more or less punting that game in a weird way because they were up. I think they were up 2-0 in the series, but they just couldn't. And then they were just like, someone else go out there and just try to get some outs. Like, we're not going to use any pitcher that might matter going forward. And they got slaughtered. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's just one game. Yeah. They weren't expecting to win that one anyway. But yeah, that was brutal.
Belair's pointing out that it's not all about the World Series, right? Still not over Bucky Dent in 78.
I mean, yeah, that's tough. That one's tough. You like to think that 04 erased all the Red Sox Yankee bad memories. But yeah, Shelly's right. Let's only talk about the 2021 Braves.
Voices aren't happy right now.
I think that's a lot better. Talk about Tyler Matzik and those 3 Ks in a row in Game 6.
ATL Jeff Black this is what I was saying too. I thought the Mets were done after leaving the bases juiced the first second. Yeah. You feel like you blow those early opportunities, you're done. But they just kept fighting. So there's been some Machado talk, including I think it was Mango was asking if his running was a shady play or not. It was within definitely within the rules. It's funny, Chris. We were talking with the umpire last night at softball game about it. Yeah. And I said there's a lot of umpires who would have called him out, but it was within the guidelines of the rules. It should not have been an out. So
yeah,
It was a smart baseball play, I think.
I think it's like I almost feel like if they win this, like that play needs to get talked about more. If the Padres win the series, that play needs to get talked about more, because like that's just baseball IQ. That's like an incredibly high baseball IQ to know where Freeman was behind you and move yourself into the path of that throw.
Yeah,
I mean, it's totally fine if you're not a fan of Manny Machado. He burned a lot of baseball fans, and that's completely fine. But you got to look at that play and be like, well, goddamn. That's smart on like you want players on your team to be that smart, to be that level of like thinking. And how about that play last night when that like ball went off his glove?
Yes, and off the umpire's arm, and he's doing like a do-si-do around the umpire.
Yeah, I mean that's crazy.
What a pick by the catcher on that play though. Was that Higiosha or Higasaka? Yeah. What's their catcher's name?
Higashioka.
Yeah, Higashioka. What a pick on that play, because that throw was not great from Machado, kind of flailing away. And
a pick and tag.
And still got it.
Yes. Doc's cards. Yeah, this I think in hindsight, this is one of those plays I would love to hear umpires today talk about.
Yeah.
Because it was very obvious what happened, but that umpire at first base was just like he was right there and saw absolutely nothing wrong with it whatsoever.
And given the current rules, would that have been reviewable, Chris?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I don't know. Yeah, it's crazy what is or what isn't. Jorge says the helmet would be in Dynasty Black if it had been Ohtani. Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that was just that. Like that's one of those plays where you're just like, wow, like that's impressive. That's really smart.
Yeah, and it's on the fielder. It's on the fielder to make a lane, and it's tough. It was tough.
Yeah, and Freeman was on his knees, so he had no ability to move to create that lane. It's all. I mean, yeah.
So maybe yes, I can see both sides. If you're not a fan of Machado, immediately think it's shady. If you are a fan, you think it's genius. If you're somewhere in between, you recognize it was a good baseball play.
Yes. We were talking about Lindor a few minutes ago.
I remember this. Yes, that's what I was not a big fan of him at the time. Like Chris has talked about many times, though, I feel like the last couple of years he's really showed maturity. That moment in the dugout where he laid into Tatis last year, telling them they need him not to get thrown out of a game. I feel like he's taken on a leadership role. Yeah, that was a dirty play for sure in the Brewers series, and
unfortunately not the only one that is in his. Is in his past. Amari Smith, yes, that's the one we're talking. He lifted Ron Gant, just lifted him right up off the base.
Yeah.
Jorge's cards, I'm right there with you, buddy. I'm impressed that he's out there, but I just hope he's not doing long-term damage like the ligament.
I feel like the good thing is, Chris, we're so close to the end that he's going to have the whole offseason.
Oh yeah,
take care of it. So I feel like there probably is some short-term risk, but I feel like by next spring, his long-term, it'll be okay.
Yeah, no, I think so too. Give me 1 second. I wanted to talk about this Lindor card here. Let me see if I can pull it up. Hold on.
I added it.
Yeah,
there it's on.
Okay. All right. Also, give me a second because apparently my charger is not charging my computer, which could be a problem. But is this this has got to be one of Francisco Lindor's like 25 best rookie cards, Jeff?
All right, so I'm guessing this is back then as now. It's still out of 5, right? It's Heritage Chrome, and it's a BGS 10, which, as we've talked about before, for us, it's not worth paying the premium you're going to get. But man, seeing that on an out of 5 card, that's pretty impressive. Those golds in hand. This picture doesn't really do it justice because they are really shiny in hand. But what a great card!
Yeah, this is cool. I'd be thrilled to own this in like a PSA 6.
Yep, exactly.
More or less a BGS 10. I like some. Will Z wants Freeman to DH, play Shohei at first. Kind of funny. Yeah. Well, I don't know, Doug. I don't know, Doug Campbell. Maybe the power bill wasn't paid, but I think there might just be a dead outlet here. We'll see.
Did you get it charging?
Yes, it started to charge. I didn't even realize. All of a sudden, I got the warning.
ATL Jeff Black. Chris is banking on this. That Freeman comes back to the Braves at the end of his career.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think it'll happen. Yeah.
Yeah. What a great Lindor card. So what account is this?
Oh, thank you. This is owned by Mr. No Smiles.
Yes, who has an incredible Lindor collection and is very excited about the Mets performance.
Yeah.
as he should be.
Yeah, this is definitely the week to check out his Instagram account.
Yes,
it's all Lindor and it's all really cool stuff.
Yep.
Okay. All right. I wanted to also. Is this it? Yeah. So Stanton's having a pretty good series, right?
Yeah, and I believe I think I can't remember who it was. Somebody brought up earlier in the chat, what does he have to do to make himself hobby relevant again? He's been on fire.
That's an excellent point. What does he have to do? I mean, he's probably going to creep his way to 500 home runs. I think we need some big postseason moments from him. And right now he's the Yankee hitter that's providing.
We're getting some.
Yeah. But this is a cool 2018 SSP, part of the on base hands up.
Yeah.
This is from KC Cards _IG. Just a cool Giancarlo Stanton card.
I did think of you, Chris, the other night because the game was on and Ron Darling was talking about Stanton's rippling forearms when he was at bat.
Did you guys all see this deal of second base?
I did not see it. No, I did not witness the steal, but
there's some great video of it. Like the TV cameras just kind of caught the end of it, but then they zoom out and you can see he basically is just walking to second.
Does it take like 10 seconds? Wait, yeah, he got a huge lead, right?
Yeah.
Just like a walking lead and kept walking. Yeah.
Like a Willie Mays Hayes lead. He just keeps going and going. I don't know why they didn't just throw over. And then someone in the comments was just like, that would have absolutely detached both of his hamstrings, like trying to get back to first base.
You can even see it when he runs. He's like just so big. It's just painful. He's like watching The Rock try to run the bases. All right, Blake, tie game? What is going on here?
Right. Is it? I don't think so. I'm seeing.
All right, is Blake just trolling us?
I see 3-1, end of 7.
Oh,
unless something's getting reviewed here.
He caught it. Blake was predicting.
Garrett Cole is dealing. It's not super surprising, or at least it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be surprising.
Yeah, great card though. Great card. Love to see it gem because those are not always in the best condition.
Those are extremely difficult to gem. All right, on the other end of a spectrum. Well, not really, I guess. We talked about this card a little bit, I think, on in a chat we were having on Instagram. But the New York or the NY card collector posted this.
Oh, great Scott!
My goodness. So this was up on eBay. We were watching this and wondering, like, why grade this authentic? Like, what was the logic here?
There has to be an issue. What is the issue?
So I asked him when he got the card in. He said he looked at it really, really close and he can't see anything. So someone mentioned to me, and I thought this was a really interesting. I thought it was a really interesting idea. Someone had messaged me about it and said they think the reason it was graded authentic, or one possibility, is that the owner didn't want to pay an upcharge. So he just figured, what if the guy thought it's red, it's a beautiful card, it's out of 5. Who cares what the grade is? Let's just slab it authentic and I'll auction it off and be done with it.
Yeah, but you still have to put it. I mean, you still have to pay what the declared value is. So you're still going to have to declare it something. And if you're trying to send that in bulk, I guarantee you're going to get an upcharge. So
probably, although I don't think they could.
Oh, that's.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not sure if that holds water, but I would say this card in a PSA 10 is certainly worth more than in an authentic. But I don't know how much more. It's still only out of 5. And I think this sold at auction for like 12 grand, Jeff. I think that was the number we saw. Really cool card, though. Beautiful
card.
That
sounds like a lot of money, but it seems like it's one of his best cards, one of his best images. That red looks great.
Yeah. So Jacob here says PSA authentic means do not buy. But we're talking about a red numbered out of 5 on-card rookie auto. I would have seen if I'm a judge collector and I see this, like if I saw this as a Freeman, I'm aggressively targeting it because I think it's an amazing card and I'm going to theoretically
probably are going to get it at a discount too because there's a lot of people there.
Yeah, sure. And honestly, if it's a red rookie auto out of 5, I don't care what the condition is. There's only like for Freeman it would be his Bowman Chrome auto. I don't care what condition that card is in, Jeff.
Yeah, but if you get it and you can't tell, are you cracking it out?
No,
you're just going to leave it. Okay.
Because I don't want to pay. I don't want to pay the grading fees either, Jeff.
Yeah, Doc makes a good point here. The Royals should have worn Devers jerseys for BP.
Oh, to psych out Garrett Cole.
Yeah, and Belair said they should have had him throw out the first pitch. Can you imagine that? That would have been A+ trolling.
Has any team ever done that? Had someone who's never played for their franchise throw out a first pitch, like to troll the other team? That seems like a kind of a rough move.
Blake, absolutely.
Oh,
It could
yeah.
hide a serious surface blemish that you can't tell. Absolutely. And that would be what my guess is, especially if you can't see it close up under the light in the slab, because if it was a big corner issue or edge issue, you'd be able to see it.
Sorry, Mookie Chilson here with a fantastic point. Grimace has technically never played for the Mets.
That's true, but he didn't play for a rival team.
True.
Jeremy says a lot of people are going authentic when the count is under 5. Yeah, I know there's resistance to having low grades show up. So if they feel like it's going to get a 7 or below, I know a lot of people do that, but I don't know. I think that when I see authentic, I think it's hiding something. But if you're a collector, like Chris said, of the player, you're probably thankful that it's like that, because you're going to get it at a discount.
Yeah, because I think at the end of the day, if you collect Aaron Judge, you want this card. You want a Bowman Chrome red. And do you really care? There's 5 total. Do you really care if yours is the lowest graded, the highest graded? I think you just want one.
No.
I'd love that 2009 Freeman auto. And if I could get a one with a crease and a authentic slab for what, 1/20th the price, done.
Shelly, to answer your question, I would take this all day. I know that those Judge Draft Night autos, somebody was showing us one of those, Chris, I believe.
Yeah, I think actually Scotty was thinking about buying one, I think.
It did 7.8 tonight. I just think there's too much to explain with that, and it's not this image is great, so I would take this.
It is that Judge. I'm going to try to pull one up here. Excuse me. That Judge Draft Night card is cool, but it's almost like an ultra SSSSSSP.
Yeah, when you have to explain it, it's a little tough. Vin says 2017 Bowman Chrome is underrated. 2017, 2018 Bowman Chrome. Love the borders, love the designs. Surprised they haven't caught on more. Okay, there's Draft
so this
Night.
is the Judge that who was it? Was it Shelley? I forget who posted it. Yeah. So this is out of Bowman. This was in the same set as his first Bowman Chromes. None of them have say first on them, which is really frustrating. In 2013, this is from Draft Night. And yeah, they're numbered out of 10. There's only 10 of these. So I think that's a really cool idea, but a lack of awareness of them, Jeff, is a problem for selling them.
Agreed. Yeah. And I mean, this is one of the times we can get behind somebody throwing a jersey over a sweatshirt or whatever it is, because he hasn't played yet. It's Draft Night, which is cool. But yeah, just too much to explain. And that the design on that 2017 and the image just make it so cool. I would go with that.
Yeah.
Wills, he says he'd rather have the orange 2013 Judge. No problem without those Bowmans. Again, it's annoying that they didn't put first on there.
But you're also not getting that for the price of that red in a what do you call it? An authentic slab.
Yeah, Curator says, what grade would you expect to get more money for the Judge?
That's a great question.
It is a great question. I feel like for sure anything a 7 or above would have gotten more money. That's what I would guess.
Yeah, it's tough. I honestly, I don't know how to answer that. I think it might be easier with like a higher number card, but something like this at a 5, I honestly, I don't know. I don't know,
but I can see if it has a 5, if it gets a 5, a 4 or a 5, because there's a big crease in it, then I like the authentic. I don't mind that.
Yeah, something big and noticeable. Yeah, like that. So Professor's Dugout here graded a Bowman Superfractor auto. Well, congrats on owning that in the first place. And it came back as an 8, would almost prefer authentic.
All right. Well,
I mean, I can see it. This is definitely going to be a dealer's choice type of
I can see it either way, but I'll tell you this, Professor, if you do end up wanting to sell it, that 8 is going to help you sell it much more than an authentic will.
Probably.
So if it's a PC card, doesn't matter, but there's just enough people that are skeptical when they see authentic, because a lot of people have been burned by it, that people would assume if you just had it as an authentic that it's going to be a lower grade, lower than an 8. Yeah, thanks, Doc. We're getting close. We've been getting a lot of subs. Thank you, Doc. reminding, please sub if you haven't yet. We're getting close to that 3,000 mark. It'd be fun to get there by the end of the year. So please hit the like and subscribe. Much appreciated, Doc.
Red Judge Auto PSA 10. I was going to look. Will Z said he thought a PSA 10 of the same card sold for crazy money, but for that price, Jeff, that's got to be the 2013, doesn't it? I'm trying to find the sale now, really quick on Market Movers here.
Yeah, that would be a lot, Will Z. But I'm agreeing with you. I'd take the 8 all day over Authentic. Once you get down below that, maybe. Peep says all about the image. It's more important than rarity. It's definitely a good combination, right? If you have the red, so this red is out of 5 with a great image, a great design, and people know what a RC stamp on a card is versus the Draft Night 10 auto.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I mean, you have to know what that is. And I don't know. Sometimes
maybe curator. This might be true, but I don't know. The more people that have been in the hobby, the more skepticism they have of the Authentic label.
But I will say, Jeff, when I saw this, that thought did enter my mind.
Well, especially after you talked to the guy and he said he saw it in person and didn't notice an issue. I have to say I would be cracking it.
There is that little voice that we all have. It's like, ooh, what if because we always assume for whatever reason that we're smarter than everyone else. But I'm sure multiple people have looked at this card and were like, I wonder if I could crack this out. Maybe a wipe down would really help it.
Maybe.
You know?
But maybe no one's wanted to take the chance or pay whatever you said, $12K to take the chance.
Ooh, yeah. I just look at this Judge makes me lightheaded after a while. It's just an absolutely incredible card.
Yeah. It's the Yankees jerseys, the Yankees uniforms, just the stark black and white go really good with all those color saturated borders from 2017, 2018.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, Jeremy. I mean, I could see why you're going back and forth. I don't know. It's a catch-all.
Yeah. I mean, I think we could all agree it's a card we'd like to own. You know?
Yeah. Will says there's a BGS 10.
Oh my God.
And it was red.
Good Lord.
That's a lot to pay.
That seems lunacy.
I mean,
it doesn't mean it didn't happen.
If you have that for $89K or this for $12K plus $77,000, is there any question you would take this and the $77K?
Oh my God. Yep. Wow. He's right. Yep. There it is. Sold at Golden, $79,000.
I mean, you'd have to have so much money for that to make it worth it. The cards are out of 5. What's the difference? Oh, geez.
Oh, it's a black label too.
It's a black label. Wow.
I mean, yeah, this looks cool, but you give me those two options. Like I'm agreeing with Jeff. I'll take the $12,000 Authentic and I'll keep $68,000 in my pocket.
Think of the other judges you could buy with that.
Yes.
And I'm with our Hope Hair here. The grade, bad or not. Okay. Well, maybe if it's a 1 or 2, doesn't qualify, but yes, I think it does something to alleviate people's concern.
Jeremy Smallwood says Judge bought that one. I believe
Judge stolen base. Is that true? He's on base. That's good.
All right. Yeah. Well, it's less pressure when you're up 2-1 and 3-0. I'm just talking shit. I don't,
Yep, Shelly. We don't understand prices, and they're just all you need is in an auction like that. All you need is 2 people to feel very passionately about a specific card. Maybe they're black label collectors. Maybe it's Yankee black label collectors, and there's just enough of them to run that price up.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Okay. So I actually pulled up one other Lindor card I wanted to show everyone because I'd never seen this card outside of a Beckett gallery.
Oh, an SSP maybe? Oh,
yeah. So of course it comes from, I think I wrote in my comment, it's like the most timely card that we're going to see posted this week. It's from Homer Dome Cards, of course. Opening day SSP Lindor with his World Series shirt from 2017. Very cool.
That is cool. Yeah. Wow. I've never seen that.
Yeah, I have. I've just seen pictures of it. Well, obviously this is a picture of it, but I've never seen someone actually have the card, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's really cool. Nice job, Homer Dome. Yeah, and very. I bet you're getting a lot of interest in that card right now.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like did we talk about the Lindor card we didn't buy in February?
You didn't mention it on here yet, but go ahead.
Yeah, at the Burbank show, a gentleman had a first Bowman Chrome Gold auto of Lindor, and Jeff and I were like, we waffled on it. It was like $1,400, and we're like, that's a lot of money for a guy that like we don't really PC, that we don't necessarily, not one of the guys we like. He's not that we strongly dislike him or anything, but we're just like, it's just too much money for a guy we don't really care about.
Yeah,
maybe he'll have a big year, maybe he won't. And then he started really slow, and we're like, all right, well, probably a good thing we didn't buy that card. And I feel differently now.
Yeah, I just didn't know if obviously he's good on the field. He puts up good numbers, but we didn't know if he was ever going to move that hobby needle.
Yeah. I think he's moving it now.
Now he does.
I really do. I think he's moving it now.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right, let's see. I got a couple more I wanted to look at here. This one comes from BCS Bowman. This gentleman had a very, very brief time in the postseason this year, unfortunately. But this is the first one of these cards from 2023 that I've actually seen, like out in the wild. So this is Gunnar Henderson's Topps Clear rookie card.
It's tough to get a good picture of a clear, but when you get one in your hand, it's pretty incredible. Did he throw a picture of the back on there too? Or no?
I don't think so. No, he still has it in his like the PSA.
Oh yeah,
got his PSA. But I like you can see right through it. You can see the tape on the back here.
And great job that he got a 9 because those acetate cards are tough to grade. That's a beautiful card.
Oh yeah. Lucky Peter says opening day boxes are super fun, underpriced fun for you know what I'm saying. All those words and whatever word.
We keep talking about that, but we never look at it.
Yeah, they are cheap. We bought, remember at the Burbank show, we got like 2 blasters or 2 like retail boxes. I think they were $20 a piece. And we went hunting in a 2019 box.
Yeah,
that was fun, even though we didn't find anything.
Wills, I feel like he had a great season, maybe just ran out of gas. I think it was just a matter of law of averages catching up. He still had a great season. It was just maybe a slow streak for him. I'm not worried at all about him heading into next year. I think he's in a great spot.
Yeah, and I think honestly, there's just maybe the pressure,
maybe
what happened to Adley Rutschman? I mean, he just absolutely disappeared after May,
really disappeared. Yeah,
utter complete vanishing job, and a lot of the offensive pressure was on Rutschman and Santander. And I think they just need more help. A lot of those bats went cold.
Carried that offense for a long time, so I wouldn't be surprised if he ran out of gas.
Yeah. I love Kevin Morales' comment here. He says he feels like Homer Dome sneaks into Topps and grabs a copy of all the SSPs before anyone else has a chance. I sometimes I think that way too. As they're getting printed, he's just somewhere in the factory and snatches the first one out of off every sheet.
He might. That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
I don't know about this, Royale. There's definitely some people who fall into this camp. He's probably going to finish a little higher in the MVP race, although I think they're both top 5 guys. But I don't know. It's
he's winning it now.
I hesitate to take a side.
Yeah, it seems like the kind of debate, Jeff, that we might be waffling back and forth on, over the next 10 years.
Great. I mean, you see guys like Soto and Acuna come up similar times, and they're compared for the next decade and a half, probably, and that's probably the same situation here.
A couple people in our chat here have pulled clears, which I would love to do at some point. Kate here says she pulled Estevan Florial and Lucky Peter, of course, Lucky Peter.
Pulled the Tanaka.
You pulled a Tanaka. So you got to have luck to pull those. I mean, that would be great. That'd be really exciting.
Yeah, it would be fun.
Oh, come on. Will, no one's this. I don't know. I'm not ready to say Adley would allow Ozuna to steal on him. Come on now. But yeah, the Orioles they have a great nucleus. They don't have a ton of dead money on their roster, and they could definitely go out there re-signing Burns. I mean, they need one more good arm and some of these bats to develop. And
you think they're going to re-sign Craig Kimbrell to lock up that bullpen?
I think the White Sox would have to re-sign Craig Kimbrell at this point, but yeah, I mean, we could talk a lot, Jeff, about how all these big name, big money closers, how they looked in the postseason this year.
Yep.
And it hasn't been good.
Nope, not at all. That's a bad place for a team to spend their money.
I agree.
Curator, thanks for tuning in. I know it's getting late out there in the East Coast. What time is it out by you, Chris?
It's about 10:30.
Yeah. All right. So thanks for joining us for this part of it. It takes a lot to pull some of these, especially the clear, but even the golden mirror is a tough pull.
Yeah, those, I mean, and an update, they're insanely tough. I think we saw the update odds. They're 1 in 20 hobby boxes for a golden mirror SSP in 2024 update. So that's Skeens, the Churio, the Merrill, the Holiday, the Jared Jones. They're going to exist, but they're going to be real hard to find.
Yeah, that's going to be fun to see that product opened. I don't know how much of it I'm going to be doing, but it's going to be fun to see other people doing it.
I got to be honest. I did not hear this. Now, I'm not as in tune to what's going on in baseball when I'm down here in Charlotte, but are the Twins for sale?
I didn't notice that either, but Kate, every owner is viewing the team as a money machine. So, man.
Yeah, all these teams are money machines. Like, think about what the Oakland A's are going through, and that owner will not sell that team. So he must just be.
Oh, he just knows once they get to Vegas in 3 years or whatever. Well, I'm all about teams being sold to people with even deeper pockets, but until there's some sort of salary cap and floor, it's very frustrating to talk about.
We got a monster pull alert in the comments here. Daniel Morales says he pulled an
Daniel
Sapphire Chrome. Wow.
Wow.
Honestly, at this point, Jeff, I would say maybe grade it. Take your time, because the Ellie hype won't start up again until like February, March of next year.
I think you wait for spring training. Ellie's going to be one of those guys, and I think Phil maybe talked about it on last week's spitballing about Churio or some of the other guys that the hype machine is going to be pulling up in once spring training comes on these young guys. So yeah, I would say take your time, grade it, and count your money in the spring.
That's kind of a cool defensive image too. If you want to, yeah, it's kind of a cool shot. But yeah, great pull, man. Congrats. Is it one of the parallels? Always curious. All right, so yeah, Twins are indeed up for sale. The Poll lads have owned this team for a long time.
Yeah, Curator says bought for $34 million 40 years ago. Currently worth about $1.5 billion. Wow. Yeah, Morris Smith is exactly right. Private equities are getting involved. Easy money to be made. So you just don't know how much things will really change. But
yeah, it's so frustrating. Like, I feel like these guys shouldn't own baseball teams to make money on. They should own them as like a hobby. Like if I had this kind of money and owned a team, I would want that team to win.
Well, that's what I love about Cuban. He really wanted an NBA team, bought it, got really good locker rooms, chairs, everything the players would want, try to recruit the players. Yeah, it'd be fun to be a fan and own the team, but I just think that happens so infrequently now with the money that these guys, that these teams are making.
Don't forget, Jeff, preseason when the new Orioles owners took over, like, remember they went out to like a sports bar and they were like buying rounds of drinks and covering bar tabs and stuff. Like, I got high hopes for the Orioles ownership group moving forward. And the one problem with those private equity getting involved, I can tell you, when a corporation owns your team, there definitely is, bottom line becomes very important. I know the Braves, what's interesting, the Braves books get opened and they are public records. You can see what revenue they're reporting and whatnot, but
yeah, and like Vince says, there's a lot to hate about the Mets for baseball fans, but Steve Cohen being a fan and having deep pockets, those are the rules. Baseball, there's no rules. So
yeah, and if you're a Mets fan, when he took over the team, that had to be. I know for a fact some Mets, they were like almost in tears. They were so happy the Wilpons were gone. Happy.
It's like you're replacing Satan with Santa Claus. So yeah, I feel like there's probably.
Ooh, Daniel pulled the green, number 29 out of 99. Yeah, if you unless you really need the cash now, like for holiday shopping or what have you, if you can wait till March 1st, I think you do a lot better.
Agreed.
Royal Benjamin says if he can ever afford a team, he's getting one at bat per game.
Hey, I don't blame you. At least get out there for BP.
Yeah, I mean, you probably would just get so badly hurt Like the other team would get mad. They just drill you in the ribs, and that ball would just like shatter your lungs. Like your whole body all your organs would just collapse.
Jay Trinidad's a little upset that this Gunner
Oh.
card has been on the screen for so long.
I'm sorry. I get excited when I see a good clear. All right, I want to talk about this. So our good friend of the show, Kava Cards, shared this really cool Bryce Harper card, and I had this one like prepped to talk about. A couple of days ago. And well, it's less relevant now.
Yeah, I mean, Harper had a great series. You think he was going to be advancing, maybe getting a title? Postseason Harper is great, but unless he gets some support, this is what Phil has repeatedly talked about on Spitball. And in baseball, you just have so much less of a chance to control the game as an individual versus, say, basketball. And you can have a great series and get bounced, which happened.
Yeah, I mean, I still can't quite wrap my head around how it happened. Like, it just seems insane to me. Like Wheeler
crapped the bed at the same time on offense, and the pitching wasn't great.
Outside of Wheeler, the pitching wasn't great. Wheeler was his usual, absolutely dominant self, and absolutely no help whatsoever. The bullpen was a disaster for them.
Hoffman,
Hoffman was awful. I mean, Hoffman's he blew the one game the Braves won last year. So I don't know. I mean, shit happens. It's a short series, but that was tough. It's tough because I want to see, once the Braves were done, and that was months ago, I want to see like the best teams and the best players just advance. And we're not seeing that. And that's too bad. No offense, Mets fans. I hope you guys do well. I will be at the Fanatics Sportsbook on Sunday with a Mets fan buddy of mine, and he is going to be just an absolute drunken wreck. Win or lose.
Is there a game Sunday?
Yep. Sunday is game 1.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah, he's excited to just get there and look at what all the prop bets are going to be, and basically just like mortgage his children's college fund for some gambling purposes, which is not something that anyone.
A full report of that next week, including his divorce proceedings.
Yeah, it definitely should be a thing where like he just leaves the house with like $200 in cash and that's it, like not access to anything else. But we'll see.
All right, Mookie, I can kind of get behind this, but at the same time, that's a lot of credit given to the Mets. The Phillies really, really crapped the bed.
Also, Jay Trinidad says he's always wanted Harper in pinstripes. I think Jeff and I talked about at the time when he was a free agent, it seemed like the most obvious place. And they didn't even offer. They never made an offer.
We thought that's where he was going to end up. Yeah.
It was really weird. That's a weird time for the Yankees, like in the mid-teens, like mid to late 2010s. They weren't behaving like the Yankees. They didn't really know. I don't know. Harper and Machado were both free agents, and they made no attempt to sign either one. Weird.
No, they were just kind of floating there. I'm trying to remember who some of their big signings were then, and the names mostly escape me, which probably is a good indication of what they were doing.
The Stanton trade was probably their biggest financial pickup around then.
That's true. And that
that one didn't work out. I remember being so mad when that was announced, Jeff. So mad. Trade? Yeah.
Yes, I do too. Blake, that's when his beard was a discussion, right? Would he shave to go to play New York? Yeah, because Chris, that was like the what was wrong with baseball, right?
Yes.
I mean, the best player, MVP in a small market, just getting shipped to a big market.
Yeah, they locked him up, and it was like, okay, this team is willing to spend now. They're making money. He can be the face of their franchise. And they're like, nah. We don't want to deal with this. No, Ellsbury, that's right. Bel Air 249. Good call. Yeah, that was Ellsbury for the Yankees and Carl Crawford for the Red Sox. Definitely same type of player and same, unfortunately, result.
Yeah, like those guys were fantasy monsters in their prime.
Mookie Chill says the Mets do deserve credit. We don't mean to be besmirching the Mets. They've had some absolutely incredible moments. It's just really unexpected. That's all.
Yeah. Yep. And that's the thing with these short series. It's the team that gets hot. I said it before. We saw with Arizona last year.
Yeah. I mean, if you told me in May that Sean Mania was going to throw 3-hit innings at the Phillies in the playoffs, I would probably have just laughed in your face.
Yeah, considering I owned him in fantasy, he had a nice season for sure. But you think against that offense, he wouldn't be able to shut him down the way he did.
Yeah. Ellsbury, did you see what we paid? All right, I'm trying to read Trinidad's. Jay Trinidad here says Ellsbury didn't scare us. Did you see what we paid Soto?
Well, not much yet. That's the point, right? We got to see.
I think just 31 million or something for a 1-year deal.
Yeah,
but we shall see.
The Yankees got an absolute bargain on Soto this year. It's going to be what happens next.
Cardaholic is right. I mean, this would be really interesting.
That came up earlier in the chat as well. That would be the best for baseball as a sport, and I get that argument. I understand that you've got two huge markets, two huge legacies, big stars, big ratings. So I get it. And if it turns out that way, I'm not mad at it because those are two of the teams that have been the best this year. So I don't mind. But
it's just like not how you would have envisioned it, because they're both so like incredibly flawed.
Yeah,
like the Dodgers are down to 3 starting pitchers that are healthy, and none of them pitch well in this series, and the Yankees still only have like 2.5 hitters.
Yeah,
so it's just like it's really weird. Like I don't know. But it would be exciting to watch. Watch Ohtani and Judge going head to head.
Jay Trinidad does make a good point, though, and this came up too in the chat about the Subway Series. If we get a Yankees-Mets Subway Series, that would also be huge for baseball and huge news. Primarily for the East Coast, you don't get the bi-coastal love, but
I don't think that 20. I could be completely wrong. I don't think that 2000 World Series was watched by as many people as we might think it was. I don't think anyone west of the Mississippi cared, but I could be wrong. I don't think the ratings were that big. Way bigger the following year with Arizona in there, but that won 7 games. Yeah, there you go right here. This would be fun. Yankees versus Mets. The winner gets Soto.
I like that. Also, Kate's comment, KC versus SD would draw tens of viewers.
Oh, my God. Would Fox even air it? Like, legitimately, would Fox air it, or would they just throw it on FS1? And
FS1. Yeah, they'd be like, all right, we're going to bring back a rerun of Prison Break.
Yeah, I was gonna say, here comes some vintage Simpsons instead, which honestly I would be okay with. Hold on. Okay, so real quick, this Bryce Harper card, I feel like we didn't even get to talk about it. This is his like flagship rookie. It's an SP, and it's kind of like the bat down. So for their first crack at the bat down. So if you want a flagship Harper, you want this image.
Right. Make sure it's the red helmet, which is what it's usually called, even though it's not listed as that on the
PSA. And we said it before, but the only other time you're going to see this image, there's a sticker auto, which is kind of crappy, but rarer than this. There's also a mini, and I've seen people on eBay try to sell that mini, pawn it off as a regular card.
Careful if you're buying. Yeah.
Maybe tougher now with the eBay guarantee, but yeah. Royal Benjamin. I don't think people got excited on paper about Arizona and Texas, but that was a good series. It was fun to watch.
But then you're talking about baseball fans versus casual fans, right? Ohtani and to a lesser extent Judge, but those are the names that get people like Chris's mom interested in watching that bat or two. So I feel like as far as getting big ratings, that would be the case. I have no doubt that baseball fans are going to watch whoever makes it.
Absolutely. Wilsey is just talking about this. The Tigers Padres, which technically could still happen. And that Tigers team, Jeff, in 1984 was
the 35-5 Tigers team. Yeah. Willie Hernandez. Yeah.
Kirk Gibson, Alan Trammell, Lou Whitaker, a really good team. Jack Morris.
I was throwing this in too, Chris. There's an iconic card reprint of that Harper, so be careful. Yes, that's another one. I don't understand why Topps does that, but yes.
The thing that bugs me, like I'm okay with the reprints. I'm perfectly fine with like the reprints like that. They make them refract, but they got to take the RC off the card, and that just shouldn't be that hard to airbrush that off. It just
Chris, have you seen that Ohtani auto reprint that keeps getting sold? They keep selling it as it's like a patch auto, a picture of the patch auto. It's just really frustrating.
I think that's from 2022 Topps. They did that with like a Mike Trout, like Bowman Chrome too. I mean,
and then people are slabbing it and selling it.
But I mean, you would think eBay authenticity should, depending on the listing, the way it's worded, that should catch that. But I mean,
it doesn't always. The biggest thing is it's just frustrating when it turns off new collectors or people just coming into the hobby. You don't want them to get screwed. And
Lucky Peter, good call. Those Simpsons cards from the 90s are definitely underrated.
Yeah, you should have some of those, Chris.
I should. I might try to find a box and we could open some on the show.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yep, that's exactly right. Rewind the clock.
Yes, rewind the clock.
Yep, and Kate says another one sold for $1,000 last week, and
I just don't understand how it can keep happening. But oh well.
Hey, 84 tops traded is a very rare set, so it doesn't surprise me that Willie Hernandez would go for more than you'd expect.
Yeah, Trinidad is right. Imagine, the Mets go through like all 3 division winners in the National League to get to the American League. And then, well, the amazing would be, if they lose to the Tigers, like they get all the way there and then the upstart Tigers like sweep them.
Yeah, I don't know. Chris, you might know this since you're the postseason savant. Has any team beaten all 3 division winners? I know we've had some wild card teams get to and win the World Series, but I don't know if on their path they've beaten each of the 3 division winners. That would have to be the Dodgers would have to beat the Padres, and then the Mets would have to beat them. But that would be pretty incredible.
It would be incredible. I don't think that's
dogs against all division winners.
I don't think that could happen. I mean, it would have to have been in the last since the lockout or since the strike, whatever it was in 2022. Yes. I don't think that's happened in the 3 years that or 2 years since. I feel like it would be a bigger story. We'd know.
Yeah.
So I don't think so. But actually, I can tell you since I know it didn't happen in the National League because the Braves got bounced in the first round twice, and the team that beat them didn't win the World Series. So I know it didn't happen.
There you go. So it hasn't happened. Could be a first.
Yes. Thanks for making me relive that.
Bottom of the 9th. What do we got for a score? Is it still 3-1? Is that what I heard?
The last I saw was 3-1. Yes.
Rahope here. Okay, so this is an interesting guy who's come up a few times, and he's been a pick for us on several occasions. Astros fan, you guys have any opinion on Kyle Tucker cards? I think he's good, but I'm not sure about how well he'll do long term. He's been a fantasy stud for years. And Chris and I thought that might translate to his hobby. So we actually picked up a couple rare Tucker cards. Was that last year or even the year before?
I think it was the year before. And there was a brief time this year. Remember, he was like neck and neck with Judge in May.
Yes.
And shattered his shin on that foul ball. And that was pretty much it. Isn't he a free agent this fall? Or did he extend?
I wonder.
I think he might be a free agent. I should look that up before I say it. And while I'm doing that, Jeff, why don't you discuss what Shelly the Turtle just brought up here?
Okay. This is interesting. This has been happening more than you'd think, but okay. Bowman Gold Ohtani out of 50 non-auto went for $8K last week, and I believe that was the 50 out of 50, Chris, right?
That is correct. Yes.
So everybody likes to see that 50-50 on the card because he went 50-50 this year. So they're paying an extremely healthy premium to see that stamp of the 50/50. Yeah. I don't understand it either, but that's the reasoning behind it.
That was the paper Bowman. That wasn't even like a Bowman Chrome. I think someone just didn't really know what they were doing, and they had a lot of money. And I guess good for the seller to cash out.
Good for the seller to cash out, and if you're the buyer and really want that, fine. Yeah.
Okay, so
50-50. Yeah. Tucker has another year, it sounds like, from the chat. Bregman's the one that's free agent this year.
That's right. Yep. He's got one more year arbitration.
Yeah, Royale, you're right. It was the 50-50.
It was a 50-50.
So Tucker, I don't know about his cards. I don't know if he'll ever catch on in the hobby. He's not the main focus of that Astros team hobby-wise. He's definitely behind Yordan and Altuve to some degree. I don't know. We thought it 2 years ago. It didn't happen. Didn't happen last year. The injury this year isn't going to help him going into next year. So I don't know. If you're a big believer, you can probably get some really cool cards for pretty cheap.
Yeah, that's one of the cool parts when your team, if you're an Astros fan, you've got this guy who's really, really good and still pretty young, and his best cards are very affordable still by comparison.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lincoln Thomas, I would say, yes, I would also stay away from him. I just don't, if it hasn't happened, I mean, who knows? Maybe after 2025, Jeff, he takes that left-handed pull swing and he signs in Yankee Stadium.
It could.
I don't know.
It could, but then at that point, what is he going to be, 29-ish? And I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely, that's just, Royal Benjamin, we don't like to talk negatively about people's appearance on this show, although we've done it numerous times already tonight. But yeah, his chin situation, I think, is troubling. But
his chin and his neck. He's got two issues.
Yes. All right. Well, congrats, Yankee fans. Looks like you're moving on.
Yankees moving on. Our friend Jake is doing the worm across Chris's living room.
Thankfully, no.
Jay Trinidad. Well, I don't know about the first part, but how much would a rookie judge card cost right now? We saw that red is red
$12,000. Yeah.
But you could get a base rookie for what, $50?
Yeah, I mean, you got to give us more. Jay Trinidad, we got to narrow it down. But yeah, like Jeff said, anywhere from probably $20 for a nice insert, like a base insert or something, all the way to what was that BGS 10? $70,000, somewhere in between there.
All right, Chris. Hopefully you haven't had too much to drink because Blake has some fighting words here. All right, we got Tucker and Devers, both the same age and the same WAR with 22-ish. Can you give our viewers any perspective on what might make them different or what make one more collectible than the other?
I mean, Blake, that's a great point. I would just say that, collect who you want. I'm a big Devers fan, and I think it's largely due to the fact that I have him on a fantasy team. And he beats up the Yankees. Those are two things that are really important to me. But I think that Devers has had better postseason numbers than Tucker, and that does matter in the hobby. But Tucker is by far the better defensive player. By far.
I think that's where a lot of his WAR, he makes up that difference in WAR. I think Devers is really not a WAR favorite, but he's piling up the counting stats, Chris. He's well on pace for like a 500 home run career, 2,500 hits, maybe more. So he's piling up those counting stats that a lot of older collectors really appreciate, and WAR doesn't take that into account. So I feel like that's where his collectability comes in.
Yes, that is the answer I should have given. Thank you, Jeff. Yeah, his offensive counting stats. Yeah, I mean, real good chance at where he is at 3,000 hits, at close to 500 home runs, at 1,500 RBIs. Like all those numbers are there. I haven't heard an update on his shoulder issues this offseason. He's posted some stuff where he's on vacation. Yeah,
just takes it easy. Peep says my budget happens to be between $20 and $70K, so that's awesome. Well, then you've got a world of judge cards to pick from, Peeps.
Yep. All right. Doug Campbell has some Cape Cod Baseball League cards. There's some really good ones out there. Frank Thomas, Jeff Bagwell. Some really big.
Was there a movie that was centered around Cape Cod baseball? Was that with Freddie Prinze Jr., I believe, was in a Cape Cod baseball movie?
He was, yes. And I don't really think Freddie Prinze Jr. is the reason any of us should ever watch that movie. There's a lot of movies out there that fit this description, Jeff, but that's one that you watch, you put it on mute and you really enjoy it. But it's a hard one to listen to.
Is Justin Timberlake's wife in that one?
She is. Yeah, no. She is.
I figured that. I saw the look on your face that made me think, oh yeah. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got some amazing scenes and a lot of cringing, like real hard to watch
baseball stuff.
Yes, some really, really bad baseball stuff. Yeah, Show You the Turtle. I think this really summarizes the main points of our chat tonight.
Oh, man, that's terrible.
Yeah. But I don't know much. But
Belair, I hope this is the case. Devers looks to be a lifer for the Red Sox. They've made some, I would say, mistakes in the last decade or so, letting some of their better players get away who could have been legends in the city. And so, I'm hoping Devers stays there. Yeah, Betts and Devers should have played their Devers' entire career should have been with Mookie Betts. Get older together. Really a bummer. That's not going to happen. But again, I think we talked about before, I think the Red Sox are in pretty good shape next year. They need a frontline starter, but their offense, they got a lot of guys coming up. Jacob has fond memories of going to Cape Cod games with his uncle. Get a milkshake, go to the card shop, go to the game, get another milkshake. Love that. I've heard those are really fun games to attend. They are extremely fun. I will tell you. I know Doug Campbell and I share a lot of memories about going to Cape Cod games with our grandfather, because the price was right and that it was free. That's great. That's a great Great price.
And yeah, they used to like if you ran down foul balls and brought them to the snack bar, you get like a free bag, a piece of candy, or free free bag of M&Ms or something.
Yeah, some peanuts, nice.
Okay, we're at an hour and 50 minutes here.
Yeah. Anything you want to get to before you depart for your chicken chunks?
Well, I don't
As
get
M. Carson
chunks.
says, you're building a baseball Frankenstein.
No
chicken chunks on the East Coast?
No chicken chunks on the East Coast. No.
Well, I hope M. Parsons is still doing chicken chunks.
I'm sure she is. It was Summer Catch, and I see that even M. Parsons knew the name of that movie. It's the movie that basically is the reason we know Jessica Biel's name. There's a scene in that movie where she like puts on catcher's gear, and it's so brutal. It's so bad. It reminds me of the movie The Change Up with Ryan Reynolds and Jason Bateman, which on paper should have been hilarious, but somehow was really terrible. But it's a body switching movie.
Okay.
Olivia Wilde takes Ryan Reynolds to a baseball game. Okay. And she says this line while they're watching the game about Tim Hudson, who was pitching for the Braves. And when you hear this, you realize that not one person associated with that movie had any idea what baseball is or how it is played. So Tim Hudson throws a pitch. Someone I think on the other team gets a hit. She cheers. They cut. I mean, they don't really know what they're doing. People are cheering. And she goes, man, Hudson is really nailing that slider this year. And I was pretty much done with the movie at that point. Like, it just didn't make any sense. And it's just earwormed into my brain, Jeff.
That always gets me. I mean, there's millions of dollars spent on these productions. You think they could find somebody they have tech advisors on all of these movies. And you'd think that they would find somebody with a little baseball acumen.
You would think, or just like someone was like, hey, this line doesn't make any sense.
Blake's talking about the scene as well. So is it, do I have to watch it?
I don't think Blake's talking about the same scene. I think Blake's talking about a different scene.
All right. I was wondering how Jessica Biel putting on catcher's gear in an awkward way that scares Chris could change Blake's life. But
it's more like she catches a ball. Oh, it's just, I can't even, it's bad. You can find it on YouTube, but then you just watch the swimming pool scene and everything is fine after that. You won't care. You won't care. Yeah. Nail your sight. Like, God.
All right. Well, everybody, your assignment this week is to watch Summer Catch and we can discuss it. Chris, we should have a baseball movie discussion.
Yeah. Conversely, by the way,
maybe once a month we should discuss a baseball movie. Have everybody watch, and we can talk about the various accuracies and inaccuracies of the movie.
Yeah, in Trouble with the Curve, I only fell more in love with Amy Adams as that movie went on, because she either is a baseball fan or she just did enough research to be able to talk about it. So
I never saw that movie. Is that the Clint Eastwood one?
Yeah. It's not good, but
she's good in it.
She's good in it. She's great. She's good in everything. She's great.
Yeah. Mr. 3000, that was filmed in Milwaukee.
That movie's surprisingly watchable, Jeff. That movie had no business being as watchable as it is. None.
Bernie Mac. R.I.P. Bernie Mac. Yeah, Jay Trinidad, Jesse Winker. He's all right. I don't want to get started, but yeah, he pretty much destroyed the team last year. He's a horrible teammate, and yeah, he's just good. Good luck to him. Good luck.
I'm going to leave this up very briefly. Doc's cards. I'm just going to say yes. The answer is yes. Yeah, Wilsey, I think we should do this. We should do a baseball movie, like maybe the last Thursday of every month. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll start thinking about the best way to do this. I have to put this up because there's a My Cousin Vinny. It's like my family friend that was an attorney hated My Cousin Vinny because how can you hate My Cousin Vinny? Of course it's unrealistic. But I guess if it's something you're passionate about, I know that there's people in the medical field that don't like ER or Grey's Anatomy because they take too many liberties, but some liberties have to be taken, but you feel like there's, at least it's in sports movies, there's some level of realism that you hope to
You hope, but still, they just get all these actors. Like in Angels in the Outfield, had Tony Danza once in his life thrown a baseball before he walked out to the mound to film his first scene?
He played minor league baseball.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Was he that bad? I didn't see the remake. I only saw the movie from the 40s.
Oh, I didn't even realize it was a remake.
You didn't?
We got a couple people. M. Parsons and Doug Campbell want to know if basketball counts for a baseball movie.
Sure.
Spectacular movie.
So Tony Danza was. I'm just looking up. He was a boxer.
I don't remember him playing.
I mean, I do get him confused with Randy Macho Man Savage, but
people are asking about Tom Selleck.
Roles tapped right into his athletic skills and experience. He was keen to play ball offset as well.
Well, just the wording. Keen to play ball is not how I would describe someone.
Been a minor leaguer, but he should have thrown the ball. He obviously threw the ball, but apparently it might make the movie worth watching. It was a remake from the 40s.
Okay,
it was pretty good.
All right, two things real quick. One, the Tom Selleck movie is called Mr. Baseball, and the movie that M. Parsons brings up is called Ed, and it's got Matt LeBlanc plays a minor league baseball player, and his team begins to find success when they have a monkey joins their team. And it's like the best player.
Are you serious?
This is a legitimate movie, and it's context is important here, Jeff, because this is the mid 90s. Like Friends was one of the most popular, financially successful TV shows, and Matt LeBlanc was ready to make the jump into movie stardom.
Sure. And
he began with Ed.
Well, it makes it worth seeing. Los Bravos, I believe you're thinking of that scene at the beginning of Who's the Boss where he goes diving into home plate.
Yes.
Some kind of softball game.
That is amazing.
Real life. Yes. There was a comment here. Let's start and end with Major League. Another film shot in Milwaukee. If you guys watch close, all the stadium shots from inside the stadium are in Milwaukee. I remember that as a kid, they were filming it. I desperately wanted my dad to take me. They were just looking for people to show up at the stadium. They weren't going to pay you, but they were going to give you some snacks, and you sit in there and cheer. I never did get to go, but that was
and Bob Uecker is the Brewers radio guy or TV guy, and he nails his role in that movie.
A lot of it was ad-libbed, like the just a bit outside. He's great.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, Hardball with Keanu Reeves. That might be a little tough.
Hardball. Oh man, Chris, did you ever see The Slugger's Wife?
No.
Slugger's Wife. It was like an HBO movie in the 80s. And I'm trying to think. I think William Peterson was in it. I remember seeing that as a kid. There's a couple scenes in there that, as a kid, Tony Maselli was an ex-Major League player. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I think.
That's funny.
Yes. Oh, my God. Hold on. We have to go back. I think Los Bravos deserves some credit here for pointing out that maybe Jeff was thinking Who's the Boss is real life.
I already put that up. Yes.
I know, but I wanted to make sure.
Diving home plate. And yes, he played an ex-Major League player. Oh, man, I got to watch that movie. He was that bad in Angels in the Outfield?
I mean, it's not good. I mean, Charlie Sheen, I think, is the best like pitching mechanics of any actor in a movie. Kevin Costner maybe second.
Yeah.
Eastbound and Down. I'll be honest, and this might offend. I really never seen that show. I'm not a big Danny McBride fan, but I should give it a shot. It's about baseball.
Yeah, I should too. I've seen a couple clips and episodes.
Was she in that, Jeff? Rebecca De Mornay?
No, it was not. It was Virginia Madsen. It was.
Of Candyman, if I'm not mistaken.
She was at that point, I thought she was on her way to movie stardom. I mean, as a 10-year-old kid seeing that movie, there's not much more. There's
some great Little League stuff in 30
Long
Rock
Gone.
as well.
Yes, That's the name of it. Long Gone. Slugger's Wife. I don't remember who was in that one. Thanks, Los Bravos. I believe this line was scripted.
But it's followed by hell when this guy sneezes, he looks like a party favor. I don't know if that part may have been ad-libbed.
Good call, but Haywood was played in the movie by Brewers great and Cy Young winner Pete Vukovich.
Oh, that's interesting.
He was a pitcher, but he played that power hitting first baseman for the Yankees.
Yeah. We're getting more specifics on Tony Maselli's baseball career. No one tell Jeff that Ted Danson wasn't a relief pitcher for the Red Sox.
He wasn't? Oh, man.
Yeah, Belair 249. I don't think anyone tuning in now is going to wonder how on earth we got here. But
well, that's the beauty of it, right?
Yep. You just never know. You never know where we're going to go. But okay. Are you trying to find some shot of Tony Danza throwing a baseball?
What gives you that idea?
Oh, boy. Oh. How's your wife and my kids is one of like so perfectly delivered in Major League. And that's at every little league. Like there were kids saying that they didn't really know what it meant.
Every time. Yes. Yeah. All right. How can you not believe this was a Major League player?
That's the problem, Professor's dugout. Like, look at that hair. My goodness. All right, hold on. Hold on a minute. Can we even open this up right now?
Pushing important information out of your brain, Professor. What could be more important than information about an 80s sitcom?
Right? I mean, he's going to wake up and go to work tomorrow, and his brain is going to be like, it's just going to start talking about who's the boss instead of... Okay, we don't want to see... Oh, here we go. All right, now let me see if I can do this. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this or not, due to age and.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll play. Is it playing?
It's playing.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
Mel Clark.
I think that's legit. I think he bounced that one about 35 feet right to the catcher.
Danny Glover's the manager?
Oh, yeah. Christopher Lloyd plays one of the Angels. I mean, we're talking about a star-studded cast here, Jeff.
I'm going to have to watch this. This is... All
right. Anyway, I don't think we should show this anymore. That might cause us some YouTube issues down the line there. But yeah, take a look. It's how you would throw a ball if you just flexed your arm the entire time.
If you just had a full flex.
Yeah.
It appears though that he played on the Dodgers.
Oh boy! Wow.
Look at this. Yeah, he doesn't look very comfortable, I gotta say.
Mr. Belvedere had Willie Mays and Mickey Mantle on his softball team. I don't know if that's entirely true, but I'm gonna have to go. I will search that deep into YouTube. Before we go, Jeff, I know we didn't do trivia tonight, but I wanted to ask everyone a trivia question. This is a little personal to me.
Okay.
So last night, my brother-in-law and I took my dad out to a sports bar to watch Game 4 of Padres Dodgers. He has not been to a sports bar to watch a game. He said, like, I don't know, 15, 20 years. It wasn't as crowded as I was hoping, but there were some other Dodger fans, and we had like a 95-inch TV screen, essentially right in front of us.
Great.
He had 2 espresso martinis, which we thought was a good way for him to drink because caffeine should keep him up because the game started at 9 our time this morning. This afternoon. My dad panicked that he'd lost his wallet.
Oh, giving me flashbacks.
Right. I'm sorry to twist the knife. Freaking out. He must have left it. I'm like, you didn't leave it at the bar. Like, we didn't let you pay. Like, you brought it home. Anyway, about 20 minutes later, we found his wallet. Where was it? I'll take 3 or 4 guesses and then I'll tell you where it was. If anyone can actually say this, I will be shocked. And Mad City Brew, you are 100% correct. He does throw better than Michael Rubin.
I'm gonna have to say in his pants that he wore to the sports bar.
All right, Jacob, this is an excellent guess. Incorrect. And Jeff, you're saying pants. Battery says pocket. Bel Air says pocket. No, not in his pants pockets. And we checked. Nope. And Parson says pants.
Was it at Big 5 Sporting Goods in Studio City, California, where my wallet was being racked up with charges?
Sadly, no. It was not in his hair. It was not in his hat. It was not in the oven. It was not in the refrigerator. Although 2 people, guessing the refrigerator. I like that. In his hand at the time. That's an excellent guess. The chair cushion is also a great guess. I've gotten 2 furious phone calls about the TV remote being lost.
In the chair cushion.
Both times. In the fridge, really, no. Shirt pocket, no. That's an excellent guess, though. That it's frequently there, but his phone has been in there for most of the time I've been here. Colonel Mustard says it was in the bathroom in the drawer. Now, Cardaholic is the closest so far. Back of the toilet. Now we're getting closer in range, but not
in the toilet,
but not in specifics. Like that's where it gets tricky. It was in the bathroom. And it was in his shoe.
No, it wasn't.
It was in his shoe in the bathroom. Yep.
Did you call it? Was it his phone?
No, his wallet. His wallet.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
You didn't call the wallet?
They did not call the wallet. It was in his shoe. And what was really funny about this is we didn't find it there. We were going. He was like tearing. He's like, "Oh, I know where it is." And he was on like his scooter because we were going to head down to the bar, and he just zips into the bathroom. And by the way, they have a little like a little shelf by the toilet. He just smashed into that full speed with the scooter, like destroyed it. Like that's like absolute sawdust in the bathroom now. But then he like reaches down. I'm like, what is it? And he just like, I just see him like hold it up. And I'm like,
he remembered it
was in his shoe.
So he remembered putting it in there on purpose.
He did. After like 20 minutes of searching. Yeah. So maybe just one espresso martini next time. Although, unlike me, he remembers stuff. So that's great.
Yeah.
Mookie Chilton was pretty close. He said he was in there. He was in the bathroom and he just had it. He pulled it out of his pocket. He didn't know where to put it. So he just stuck it in his shoe.
Okay. He didn't know where to put it. So yeah, I was wondering about the reasoning there. Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad it was found. He didn't have to cancel all his cards and get a new ID. So
yeah, it's a pretty entertaining situation over here. I have heard, as Douglas Campbell said, my dad, so he has a scooter like a Jazzy, and he flipped it in the apartment. I've got no other information.
Doing flips, like
he like fell over, like the whole scooter fell over. Yeah. There's no room for him to gain.
Is he popping wheelies through the place, and so he just kind of fell back?
I don't know. I have been told. My mom said he's gotten warnings about his speed.
Oh,
yeah, Jacob. That's the last place they're going to look, right?
Can you get speeding tickets?
No, but apparently, if you hit someone, there's a bunch of these things. We're in an assisted living building. Like it's a dune buggy trail when you walk around. If you hit someone, they will take they will take your scooter away.
You gotta have a license. Oh, yeah. Cardaholic sending a heartfelt message, hoping your dad's okay after.
He's fine. He's fine. There were a few goddammits that were thrown around the house, but he's totally fine. And now I know anytime something's missing, I'm gonna go check the shoes in the bathroom.
Well, I'm gonna start putting in my shoe. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you everybody for sticking with us this long. I never thought we'd get to wallets and shoes and Tony Danza pitching, but oh yeah, Mad City Brews saying you're lucky, Chris. You got even your dad. That's pretty cool. Yes, but thank you everybody for joining us. Chris, is there anything you want to add before we go?
No, I'm just curious who's going to be left next Thursday.
Yes,
I'm excited to see how these playoffs shake out, and I will give everyone a full review of the Fanatics Sportsbook that opened up in Atlantic City. That's where I'll be on Sunday.
All right, maybe on IG. On Instagram, you can post a poll of maybe 3 or 4 prop bets that are out there, and maybe the bet that gets the most votes, you'll actually put money on. That would be fun.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea. I will. Yeah.
If you're not on Instagram, make sure you're following Baseball Card Addict on Instagram, and this weekend we'll have some entertainment.
Doug Campbell, I'm not gonna answer this. You guys can Google it if you want to, but if you go visit your parents and you see one on the door, just go back to the hotel. See him the next day.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching. If you're not with your parents like Chris is, give them a call this weekend. Tell them you love them, even if they're flipping their scooters around. Yeah, we might get some more pants rips or sweaty pants or jerseys. These Fanatics uniforms are not holding out very well. Yeah, they're a little rough. But thanks everybody for tuning in. Please follow us on Instagram. Ask us any questions there. If we haven't got to your questions, we'll get back to them. Yeah. Leave comments here, hit the like and hit subscribe so we can you can be notified anytime we put up new stuff. So thanks everybody, and we will see you next week. Chris, are you still gonna be there next week?
No, I'll be back, but I think Topps update, I think it comes out next Wednesday on the 16th. So
yes, we didn't get to talk too much about Topps update.
Yeah, but next Thursday we'll go over it, what we've seen, what the images look like. I'm excited for it.
All right, great. So next week, Topps update and playoff talk. So thanks everybody for joining us. See you next week.
Chris and Jeff, they're the best.
I think it's a little cocky, Jeff, that you play the Chris and Jeff are the best song.